what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Call Jason Hill in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
'Tis the season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. And now enjoy breakfast till noon. Available for limited time at participating locations. Items may vary.
Hey, Hog fans, it's Zach with the Ruskin and Zach Show. Join me this Saturday, November the 23rd, from 10 to noon at the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville for ESPN Arkansas's Game Day pregame show. Robert, Elizabeth, and Matt at the Stadium Shop will have a buy one regular priced clothing item.
We got back cut like 8 times, I think. I lost count. We don't even pressure. That's a lack of awareness. That's a lack of being hooked up. So we will take a look at if there's a commonality in that, and we'll get it fixed.
ESPN Arkansas Game Day show live at the Stadium Shop on Razorback this Saturday from 10 to noon.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
That Bo, what an idiot. I mean, that guy is the dumbest. How did he get a show? Just carrying the water, bootlicker.
Wait, those are things that have all been said about me.
I understand, and me too.
Was that you?
Yeah, it was me.
You've been doing it the whole time.
I'm actually a social media master. I just haven't clued anybody in on that.
You are.
I'm the one firing all these things off. No, if I was rich, I would be. I'd just be taking pot shots.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a called play, and I called it, Chuck.
Back to Save Sports Radio.
I'm ready to roll right now,
Can you believe we're doing this?
This brings back.
Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
Here is Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Guys, I love a good snow game. I love a good snow game. I utilized my Prime Video membership last night, and I watched a snow game.
With pride.
With pride. I got to be honest. I was going to watch Georgia Tech and NC State. That was my plan last night. I was going to settle in, watch a little college football. And it turned out to be a great game, but I happened to be running a few errands last night, and I hear in the car that it's snowing in Cleveland. And I'm like, I got to get home and watch that game. I got Prime Video. I can watch it. And I'm like a little kid.
It was fantastic.
It was awesome.
The amount of snow that came down during the game. How can you not watch that?
I was childlike.
I'm just drawn to it.
I was as well. Thank God for great televisions now. I mean, back in the day, it wouldn't have been as good as it was last night. YouTube TV, I think, was the key for me.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful picture.
I hope you enjoy turning on your YouTube TV and you see just the drop down of things that Chuck would like to watch.
Yeah.
There's a game. There's a game.
I know.
There's a game. There's a game. I didn't even know that
it's
game
all
was
right
on.
there.
There's a game. Where's the NFL game? It's on Prime. Let me go up to that. Boom. Did you guys hear how Chuck navigated his way to Prime to watch one of the greatest games in the history of the NFL?
Well,
a 2-win.
It's not like I've not done it before.
Versus an 8-win team.
And the 2-win team.
Hey, listen,
it was the snow. It was the snow.
Nobody can ever convince me that there's not a reason to play after the inspired effort of the Cleveland Browns in a blizzard last night.
Exactly.
I mean, a 2-win football team played like they were in the Super Bowl.
They were in the moment.
But we saw this coming. I know.
No, we didn't.
I know. Well, we did. If you saw the Jameis Winston pregame show,
I did not see it.
or interview.
Pregame show. Actually,
it is.
He was the pregame show.
He is a pregame show.
All right.
By the way, I want you to know I've adopted Jameis Winston.
Really?
As America's quarterback.
Really?
I want to hear him speak. I want to see him play. It's just a show unto itself. Here's Jameis Winston with Kaylee Hartung before the game.
You have said you don't become a Brown until you beat the Steelers. What will it take tonight?
The horse is prepared for battle, but victory comes from the Lord. So I'm dependent on the Lord.
Is that the message to the team?
Day by day, one play at a time. That's the message.
Weather conditions tonight. We're expecting winds up to 15 miles per hour in a wintry mix. How will that impact your ability to throw the ball?
I am so happy and grateful that the Lord has blessed me to play in some snow, to be in true football weather in Cleveland, Ohio, at Huntington Bank Field today to give him the glory. It's a beautiful day.
Sure feels like you're playing in the AFC North.
It is. It's magical. Thank you.
You have,
Wow.
you have said you...
So, okay, I don't know if you realize several things happened there, but he predicted the snow after Kaylee Hartung called it a wintry mix.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yeah,
that was no
right.
wintry mix.
No.
That was a full-on blizzard.
Full-fledged snow.
I don't know what AccuWeather says, but it snowed 2 feet during the game.
Second half.
Like, it was so deep on the field.
That's when it's good.
You could, like...
Well, they had to superimpose all the yardages on the
That's
field,
right.
so you watching at home could tell where the heck the ball
Those
was.
are the good snow games where it snows hard during the game, and by the time you get to the fourth quarter, nobody even knows what yard line you're on.
So let's listen to Jameis after the game. If I can get this, here we go. Here we go.
Man, it was.
Let me start.
It was amazing.
So somebody asked about an NFL Films game. I wish you could see them because it is like an NFL Films game, with the music and the snow and like the old school, right?
Yeah.
Here's
the
what
frozen tundra.
I wish you could
Lambeau
see him
Field.
at some point in this. Yes, and at some point in this answer, he begins dancing.
He does.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna retweet it just so everyone
It's
can.
more of a shuffle than a dance.
Here we
but,
go.
I mean, he was moving around.
Here's Jameis post game after a victory in the snow.
NFL Films game
Man,
against
it really was amazing. Like, I was just praying on the sideline because that fourth quarter, it really was like it was a whole paradigm shift. Like, we were playing so well offensively, and then bang, bang, back-to-back drives with turnovers, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, this is really an NFL's Films moment. The snow starts pouring down. It starts getting like I felt like my feet started getting heavy because I'm squishing through the snow, and man, it was so good, and it was so great to end up in that win.
the way he's like stomping through the snow in the press conference. Oh man, Jameis is one of a kind, and they played inspired football.
They
for him
did.
last
They
night.
played great, and I thought both quarterbacks, given the weather, I mean, they made some great throws. Guys made great catches, and it was just fun to watch.
It was an event, like.
It was a snow event.
Well, and you're watching it, and you're like, how is this an 8-2 team playing a 2-8 team?
It's the NFL.
There's been times, depending on who's carrying the games, that they like if you don't watch a whole bunch of NFL, you turn on a game, and you're trying to figure out like, well, how are these teams doing this year? And they don't put the records up there,
right?
And I think it's not. Sometimes they do now, but there have been times where they don't in the past. And I thought to myself, well, it's kind of annoying. It's really smart. Because if you turn on the TV and you can get influenced by the records and be like, oh, this game doesn't mean anything. But what you're really turning on is trying to watch an exciting event, like something that, what's going to happen. At one point in the game last night, Jameis Winston gets hit. I mean, it's snowing, so you can't even hardly tell what's happening at times. He comes back in the shotgun after the huddle. And his comms piece, the earpiece, there's a wire in the helmet, is hanging out of the helmet, down and dangling in front of his face mask, and he throws a touchdown pass or a 2-point conversion with a dangling earpiece.
Well, I mean, it's just it was entertainment. I mean, it really was, and that's what you want when you turn on the television at night. I was entertained. Now, I was there to watch the snow. I really was not there to watch the teams. It's true. Hey, I can sit in the living room and just pass the entire day watching it snow. And that's what I tuned in for. And they happened to have a good game, too. That made it better.
You mentioned that, and I saw a post yesterday of Park City, Utah, and it was snowing, and it was in the middle of the town, and it looked so quaint and so inviting, I suddenly found myself wanting to go to the snow.
Okay.
Does that happen to you?
Yes, it happened last night for a brief moment, and then I remember that when it snows, it's really cold, and I'm not into that.
Right.
So,
You're in your house. You're stuck in your house.
that's what made it so good. It was on television. You watched it. It was like you were there, but in fact, you were not. So that was that was a good part for me anyway. But I liked it.
Well, in case you were wondering,
Yeah.
Chuck and I really enjoyed the snow game last night.
Yeah, I'm ready for that one good snow and then spring.
It's probably the end of the conversation today, but man,
Probably.
we really enjoyed it.
It was good. It was good.
Meanwhile, Bart came in today.
Yeah.
I'm here.
He's present.
I'm here.
Bart, present.
Looked like
Coleman,
like
present.
he went skiing all night. I think
He's
that's
got
how,
icicles on his.
I think that's
his
how he
beard.
slept.
He's like Klondike Bill over
I think
there.
that's
man.
how
He's
he
got those
slept.
Icicles.
So Bart, but like Pascal came out, they got them all set up. Something happened overnight. There's a gremlin in the system. Bart woke up very cold.
Seeing his breath.
Came in today.
Yeah.
Didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah. He's bitter.
He's got company coming in. I can assure you that Pascal will have that thing fixed by the
It'll
time
be
you get
made
home
right
this morning.
today.
As soon as you make them aware, he hasn't even told them yet because it happened in the middle of the night. They would have. I'm
6:11.
confident they would have been there at 5 a.m. this morning had he let them know.
Well, Bart's that way. He always thinks of other people.
He does. He's like, let these guys.
I'm not going to wake him up.
Yeah. Let's let these guys.
Easy going, Bart.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
And then he remembered, I've got company coming in this weekend.
That's
what am I going to do?
That's
He's
the
stressed.
bad part.
He's stressed. So
I got a little space heater. I got a couple of them. You want one?
I got some.
All right.
The irony of Chuck and I sitting at 71 degrees and watching a blizzard game.
I know.
And Bart huddled in a corner, all bundled up in his house. It's not lost on me.
Yeah, he's watching Hawaii 5-0 so he can feel warm. And we're over here watching a snow game.
Is that why? Is that what he's there for?
Yeah.
The heat?
Yeah.
The warmth?
That's right.
Of Hawaii 5-0?
That's the deal.
Yeah.
Warm
That's
in
what
Hawaii.
he's watching for. Yeah.
Trying to, warm up.
Well, of all the shows we've ever done, this is going to be one of them.
Yeah, it's really off to a good start.
We're glad
Flying
you're
start.
here.
Flying start.
We're glad you're here. We've got a lot to get into. That was just the literal tip of the iceberg. Literally.
Yeah.
I don't
the
know
operative word there
if
being iceberg.
If you'll see a snow game like that again this year. That was awesome.
Oh,
By the way,
you will.
Have you ever been to a
college
snow game?
football playoff? Though there's going to be snow games. You watch college football playoff. Playoff.
Yeah.
First round. I'll bet there's a snow game somewhere. What do you think, Bart?
Going to be some Alabama or Ole Miss team stuck
Penn
in
State.
a snow
It's
game
going to snow
up there
up
in the north.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It's going to snow in Ohio or
SEC's
somewhere like
set
that.
up to get robbed this year. They're out.
Well, the committee has set the SEC up to get robbed.
Those
this
guys
year.
know ball.
No, they think they do.
They do. They know ball.
You have to understand,
They
Bart's
do know what a
generally
football
bitter
is.
this morning. So committee members, look out.
Hey.
Man's heater's broke. He doesn't like the bracket. Get out of his way.
They do know ball in the sense that they know what a football looks like, yes.
Oh, well.
Wow. Come on, man. Come on. They got a hard job.
Just
got a possible job.
Just because none of
it's
their
not
heaters
impossible.
have gone out this week doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing.
It's not impossible.
I have a proposal that I would like to give to the world. Tell me if this is reasonable. I heard someone say on the way in on like national ESPN about a decision Mike Tomlin made last night in the game. And then Tomlin explained his decision after the game. And the guy who was about to criticize him said, I understand the logic. And then he went on to disagree with the decision. I think that's just a wonderful world to live in. Can we understand the logic without agreeing, or are you just an idiot when you disagree with me?
Well, you see, I
so,
think...
So can you understand the logic with the College Football Playoff Committee at some level making the decisions they've made thus far? In other words, can a case be made that's opposite of how we feel and it be reasonable and logical, or does it just make them dumb, stupid, and idiots, which is the world we live in, right?
So I agree with your point, Bo. That is a great world to live in. I completely agree. The issue is that I do not see the logic in what the selection committee is doing. I'm not going to call them idiots, but I don't, like, their explanations don't make any sense. Nothing that they're doing makes logical sense.
What are you pointing at, Joe?
Well, I'm pointing at the caller board.
Well,
we got a bunch of them
let's
on
take
there.
some calls when we come back.
All right.
877-377-6963. Chuck and Bo Show. Not snowing here. Good morning.
Chuck, have you ever had oat milk?
No.
Do you like squeeze milk out of an
Or
oat?
is it just milk over oats?
Yeah, that's what happens. How does that work?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
13 Days of Deals starts now at Fayetteville Auto Park. There's never been a better time to buy. For the next 13 days only, everything is on sale, aggressively priced up front, based on the Kelley Blue Book Price Advisor. Tons of pre-owned below $29,999, plus all your favorite new models, Honda, Acura, Toyota, Chevrolet, and more. Our biggest sales event ever. Now through November 30th at Fayetteville Auto Park. If you've been waiting for the best time to buy, this is it. Tons of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose. The deals of the year are here at Fayetteville Auto Park. We've got a great selection of pre-owned, many priced under $29,999, but only for a limited time. Closeout pricing means you save big on every new or pre-owned. What are you waiting for? You've only got a few days to lock in these limited time offers. Absolutely ends November 30th at Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show, located on West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Online at FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Pre-owned sale. All offers mutually exclusive. Expires 11/30/24.
Is your hot water heater letting you down? No one likes cold showers. We want to be able to count on our hot water. That's why Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric has an offer that comes with the peace of mind I value. Get this. For just $17.76, you can get a 40 to 50 gallon water heater fully supplied and installed by their licensed and insured technicians, backed by a comprehensive warranty. For less than $2,000? Yeah, price check it. It's a deal. Just log on to GoPascal.com and don't worry about hot water anymore.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978. For 5, 10, 15 seconds, stare it down and ask yourself, is this really a bracket that's going to determine the best team in college football?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Remember the classic Massey Ferguson tractors, straightforward, dependable, tough as nails, and easy to run? It's those classic models that inspired the Massey Ferguson 2600H series, as durable and reliable as the classics, with up to 74 horsepower and more comfort so you can work harder. The Massey Ferguson 2600H series. It's everything you want and need in a tractor. See one at Bush Machine and Tractor Company or visit bushtractor.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Are you stuck in a paper jam of printer prices? Paper cuts from budget cuts? Don't throw in the towel. Call Dixie Digital Imaging and dive into our new and used inventory blowout. We're slashing prices on top-of-the-line Xerox, Brother, and Epson printers and multifunction devices. Gently used or brand new models that are tired of being in our warehouse. Don't miss out on these deals. Call 479-783-6600 for more details. Quantities and availability are limited. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Hi everybody, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're needing a used car, we've got them. Everything from the most affordable cash cars to road-ready certified with warranty. The best used cars your money can buy. And we've got a finance option for everyone, whether you have great credit and you're looking for the best rate or you're needing to build your credit with a reputable lender. We've got you. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath.
Hey, is your roof leaking? Do you have hail or wind damage? Is it just looking old and worn out? If so, you need to call Hoghead Roofing, a family-owned and operated roofing company where the #1 customer is you. They will give you their honest opinion on whether your roof needs replaced or repaired. They have folks that have worked on the insurance side so they can assist with all claims. Licensed, insured, and ready to serve you. Call Hoghead Roofing today at 479-522-0840. God bless.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I remember Clay, when he wore shorts and hush puppies and drove a Honda Accord. Now he's got a truck with a rack on it, and he's like hitting deer and, living out in the country as a rural mountain man. It's unbelievable. Hey, you hit a certain age, man, you hit that crisis, and there's no looking back.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That does pretty much explain
I
it right
think
there.
Clay, it just hit me, should audition for Yellowstone.
I
think Clay should be in Yellowstone. And there's no doubt in my mind he can pull it off.
Put him on Survivor.
Zero.
Put him on Survivor, and that would be good.
No. Well, it's got to be. I'm just saying. There's all kind of shows we could put Clay in.
No, it's true.
Yellowstone is top of the list.
Yeah, he could deliver a good line. 877-377-6963. That's the number that'll get you into the Chuck and Bo Show. Ryan is in Hot Springs. Ryan, you were on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, while we're talking about snow, have you ever been to a snow game, Chuck? I know Bo has.
Well, I have not sat out in the snow, watched a game personally.
It's incredible.
No. I haven't done it.
Incredible.
So the only NFL game I ever got to go to was in 2019. It was Denver and Kansas City in December. And I got to say that, and I'd always wanted to go to a game in the snow. Don't ask me why, I just always have. But I got to say that was pretty daggone awesome, because on top of that, it was always me and my dad's bucket list to go watch Denver and Kansas City play in Kansas City. And then so I got to check two things off on my bucket list with that. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
We were at the same game. You and I were at the same game.
Sir.
That was
way.
yeah, and you didn't have any idea it was going to be like that. Like you maybe a little bit in the forecast, and just not to interrupt you, but to add to your story, we had me and like three dads. One of our boys turned 13, and we go to the game, and you thought about a father-son experience that you'll never forget. It was incredible.
Well, the cool part was me and my dad. We've got good hunting clothes. We're into the hunting thing. So everybody. Here's the crazy part, though. Me and my dad were sitting in our hunting clothes, and this girl she was actually from Colorado, but I think lived in Oklahoma. She was in tight jean pants and a crop top and a leather jacket.
Wow.
And throwing beers back like it wasn't nothing. We're sitting there like, I felt like she's calling us out.
You knew you'd found your soulmate.
He has a different memory. He has a different memory than we do.
Well, we were kind of up in the nosebleeds, so we were up in a little bit different crowd than y'all were. But hey, I hope y'all have a great day and go home.
Thank you,
Shots
Ryan.
of Jack fire raining down.
She had this glow about her. I knew she was the one.
Only way you can heat up is have some hot damn.
Fireball.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Danville. Matt's on the line there. Matt, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Yeah, guys, what was your opinion on something? I've always been curious. When Hunter Yurachek first arrived, he talked openly about college football coaches' contracts being kind of out of whack and how they should be more performance-based. And he had the perfect opportunity with Sam Pittman to do that. Sam wasn't in high demand. Sam wanted to be here. Yet the first opportunity, I guess he basically caved to Jimmy Sexton and didn't sign a performance base, and for Arkansas standards, pretty big buyout. It's not compared to a lot of other places, but for here, that's a big buyout. And I was just curious, why do you guys think he did that and didn't stick to his guns?
All right.
Well, I think that it was more of a reasonable buyout than maybe we've ever seen in the league. Certainly, it's below what we've seen at Arkansas. So I do think that Hunter, still from a comparison standpoint to things that have been done here in the past and things that have been done around the league, it's a really low bar that they went to in the buyout. The answer to your question is, if put yourself in Hunter Yurachek's situation, has Pittman shown you enough to get a $5 or $6 million contract that puts him at best in the mid tier of coaches in the league? Jimmy Sexton's telling you got to do this, or you're going to have an unhappy coach and blah, 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 whatever the negotiation game is. And your Hunter, like, what are you fighting against? Do you want to have the lowest paid coach in the league and have that be the vote of confidence that you give to your coaching staff that then hurts Pittman's ability to hire coaches, hurts his ability to recruit players? So I think given the circumstances, I understand his reasoning and logic. I also understand his question. It's a good question. But I don't think that he really strayed that far from where he started with Pittman.
I think the business of college sports is just like anybody else's business. The market dictates everything. I mean, the idea that one athletic director is going to be able to change the entire buyout model, I think that's a little bit far-fetched. I think all the points that you've made about doing what you can do is really all you can do in this situation. And look, here's the thing. I mean, we talk out of both sides of our mouth. I've been around here a long time, and people have said, well, how come we're just not opening the bank? We're so cheap, they won't spend the money, they won't do this, they won't do that. Well, then you start spending money like everybody else, and everything goes about the same as it did before, and it's like, well, why are you spending all that money? So, look, the market's going to dictate what buyouts are. The market's going to dictate what salaries are, just as it always has and just as it always will.
877-377-6963. If you want to jump in here, you can text the show. Give us a call.
It's a big moment for me. I'm actually the one.
Chuck's over here punching buttons.
I am. This is huge.
A lot of things aren't working today.
No, it's okay. But
we are. We're working.
We're working.
We're here.
General Ben's on the line. General Ben, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Yes, sir. I got two things, if that's all right. But the first one is, are y'all two guys, I have confidence in y'all and y'all's prognostication of what's going to happen on Saturday for us all Wild Pig Crazy fans, and I'm one of them. So are y'all giving us an upset warning?
Well, Ben, I'm glad you asked, and I'd like to. We can go around the room right now. I see Arkansas winning by 3 touchdowns.
I think it's a game Arkansas should win. I mean, that's what I would say. I mean, there's a reason they're favored.
Louisiana Tech, good defensive team. 35th nationally, I believe, in scoring defense. Putrid on offense, which is not a recipe for coming into an SEC environment and getting a win.
I think Bart had the strongest comment there.
I don't know how that's as strong as mine. I gave you guys a freaking number. You guys danced around it like you're Jameis Winston at a press conference.
Well,
I think Arkansas wins. I think Arkansas wins by 20.
I said 21.
I'm not getting into that. I'm not.
You're calling the game. That's fine, Chuck. They should dominate the game.
I think there's a reason Arkansas's favor. That's what I'm going to say. But I'll also say this: you start turning the ball over and all that stuff, and anybody can beat you.
Well, anybody. Come on. I mean, if it's and buts or candy and nuts, I mean, a lot of things can happen.
Hey, look, we're not that far removed, from
guys.
That's how fans feel, though.
Ben didn't call fans; he called us.
I know.
I accidentally cut Ben off too.
Well, that's terrible because now he can't. He doesn't listen on the app.
I know.
He listens on hold.
I knew the minute I was not able to scroll over that I was running his morning.
You couldn't hit the previous channel button and bring them back.
Exactly. It's like all this new. Hey, 3 out of 4 is pretty good. 3 out of 4 is pretty good.
Here's my feeling, and I understand the trepidation. My feeling is for Arkansas, you're bigger, you're stronger, you're faster, you dominate the game. I expect them to do that. That probably looks like a 3-touchdown victory, like I don't know, 28-7-ish, some kind of game, maybe more. Here's what's happened with this team at times. They look so good against teams that they should dominate. They get into a more physical contest, and they have 1 or 2 things go wrong, and it sort of has snowballed on them. They should go out and physically dominate this team. And I realize you can go back to the UAB game and other games, and like they didn't maybe look like they should have looked. I think an emotional loss the week before against Oklahoma State maybe had something to do with it. They didn't expect that contest. They understand, or they should now, that anybody can play. But physically, you should dominate this game. And if you do, you're going to see a really good performance from Taylor Green. To me, that's a very logical take. You don't have to agree with it, but back in the world that we're going to try to live in, maybe you can see my rationale.
I think they're going to try to run the ball. I think Louisiana Tech's going to do what UAB did. I think Louisiana Tech's going to do what they did last week when they beat Western Kentucky. For all the spread and all the throwing that they've done, when they've played their best, they've run the ball. And I suspect they'll try to do what UAB did. If you remember in that game, UAB ran the ball early, and that kind of set the tone for the day. And but you're right. If Arkansas dominates them up front early, Arkansas will probably win the game. What do you got over there?
You had any of these yet?
No.
This is a cronut hole.
Really?
How have you not had one yet?
Because I don't get out like you.
I didn't go up to the store 20 minutes before the show so I could eat them all by myself.
Well, you know, they look good.
It's fantastic.
I like those kolache things. Those are good.
It's fantastic. I have one. We'll take more calls when we come back.
I mean, they're good.
It's time for a smoke break. 6:31 on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Chuck and Bo, it's always an honor and pleasure to be with you. You know I don't do a lot of these in the course of my season.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
The holidays are all about making moments that matter. At Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, we're here to help you find a gift as special as the people you love. From sparkling diamonds to classic watches and colorful gemstones, we have something for everyone on your list. Stop by Blakeman's and Rogers and let us help you make this holiday one to remember. Because at Blakeman's, it's more than jewelry. It's your story. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. Having great vision enhances every part of life. That's why I go to McDonald Eye Associates. Whether it's a pair of readers or LASIK surgery, you know you're in good hands. You've heard former quarterback and now coach Ty Story talk about his great LASIK results with McDonald Eye. The surgeons there have done more LASIK procedures than anybody in the state of Arkansas and have helped numerous athletes get better results through improved vision. When it comes to vision, nobody sees it like McDonald Eye.
We were doing everything right. We were moving the ball. We had it. We booped. Wide open, miss. Another one here, missed. I was ready to strangle myself. Like, come on.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
5 seconds to go. Madden, right side. Three-pointer on the way. No good. Qualls with the dunk at the buzzer. It goes and Arkansas wins. It goes and Arkansas wins. Qualls with a two-hand finish. Arkansas wins the ball game.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y-City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
presented by Sharp Equipment. The merger of two good companies brings together strengths to make one great company. Regerson is now Sharp Equipment. Even though it will no longer have Joe, Jesse, or Sheila as they go off on another adventure, the foundation they have laid is now a strong asset, along with Sharp Equipment, to complement its offerings to their great customers. Sharp Equipment would like to thank the Taylors and look forward to continuing to serve the River Valley and beyond. Stop in at 5608 Wheeler Avenue and see what all Sharp Equipment has to offer.
The best things never change, they just get better. Like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Choose from juicy charbroiled double cheeseburgers, melty hot ham and cheeses, or hand-breaded chicken tender wraps. 2 full-size favorites plus fries and a drink, all just $6.99. There's no skimping in this bag. No junior burgers or tiny nuggies, just full-size goodness for big-time value. The $6.99 Original Bag, only at Hardee's. These items only, tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Up to $3,000 off and 0.9% financing on all 2024 Buick Encore GXs at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Encore GX is a boldly styled 5-person SUV that is ready to reward. Up to $3,000 off and 0.9% financing for well-qualified buyers. This is a limited time offer. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith and online at harryrobinson.com.
Hey, Hog fans, it's Zach with the Ruskin and Zach Show. Join me this Saturday, November the 23rd, from 10 to noon at the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville for ESPN Arkansas's Game Day pregame show. Robert, Elizabeth, and Matt at the Stadium Shop will have a buy one regular priced clothing item, get a second equal or lesser value, half off, including their new Nike apparel and jerseys. With the largest selection of Razorback merchandise south of the North Pole, it does not get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. ESPN Arkansas Game Day show live at the Stadium Shop on Razorback this Saturday from 10 to noon.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
This is my problem with people and criticism. Like, you get on social media, you create a fake account, and you say things. Like, if you're going to call for somebody else's job and you're going to make a big statement, put your name on it. I am Bart, and I did the billboard. Bart didn't do the billboard. But put your name on it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That's
there
our
you
name
go.
on the show.
Put your name on it.
That's
right there.
Chuck doesn't have a fake Twitter account.
Nope. I have one I ignore.
Doesn't have a burner.
But it's not fake. It's National Substitute Teachers Day today.
Right there.
Whoa, what a...
You know, the thing about substitute teachers is nobody listens to them.
No.
At all. And
No.
Honestly, we should really take our hats off to teachers everywhere. But substitute teachers, that's another level of pain.
I mean, they call you, you wake up, you go in, you know it's going to be bad. You know they're going to get after you pretty good, I would think.
And you probably, got called in at a moment's notice.
Exactly.
You don't know
That's
what
my
you're
point.
really supposed to be doing.
Heater's out. It's cold.
Nobody's listening. Kids don't think they have to pay. Everybody's acting
That's
up.
right.
You can't hold them accountable. You're not going to be there tomorrow.
That's
I'm going
right.
to tell your other teacher. That doesn't work. In high school, kids just don't go to school. They find out they got a substitute teacher. Well, we don't have to go. We're not going to do anything. You still have to go to class.
Do they still make them go to class in high school?
Man,
they barely do in college.
Don't get me started.
All right. Okay.
I mean, yes.
Don't get me started.
Yes, but
don't get Bo started.
But I mean, how many adults do you need for 6,000 kids? How many adults does it take? We asked yesterday, how many beers does it take to have beer muscles like Cal was talking about?
Yeah.
How many adults does it take to make sure 6,000 students are in class?
18,000?
Right. 3 to everyone.
That's my point.
That's exactly right. So you accidentally cut Gentle
Ben off.
And let's bring him back.
All right, Gentle Ben, I apologize.
I got him.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, Gentle Ben, you're up.
Okay. Georgia, number 12, beats number 7, Tennessee, 30-something to 17, or whatever the score was. And it sounded like pretty soundly they beat them. And then, Georgia moves up one spot from 12 to 11. Tennessee drops back one from 7 to 8 in the rankings. And I think that was wrong. There's 2 left shoes. And I think that Georgia should be ranked ahead of Tennessee. Now, both of them have 2 losses, and I can't figure out why they would do that. The voting committee or whoever does that popularity contest And then the only thing I can think of is maybe the profit makers know that Tennessee might make them more money if they went to the Final Four or whatever more than Georgia. So could y'all please explain to me what their thinking is? Or I think that Georgia got hosed. Now I'd like you to leave me on there so I can listen to y'all's comments, please. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, gentleman.
Bart, you're the expert.
Bart's the one we go to.
Here's
when
what's
it comes
interesting.
To committee matters.
Here's what Ben's asking about. Here's what I find interesting about it. You know, I keep saying a lot of this is going to play itself out. But if you look at the rest of Georgia and Tennessee's schedule, they're probably going to win their remaining 2 games. So if this, are they both going to be in the SEC championship game? Is one of them going to be in the SEC championship? Are they both not going to be in the SEC championship game? I haven't run all the scenarios. But the scenario where this doesn't really work is if you take a Georgia and a Tennessee, they play pretty much the same kind of opponents the last 2 games. They win their games, and they're not in the championship game. Let's just pretend for a second. They're not the 2 teams in the championship game. So if the committee ranked Georgia ahead, or vice versa, whatever that Ben was saying there, how do either one of those teams have a chance to move ahead of the team in front of them? So if they got it wrong this week, is there a correction that happens later, and how does that really occur if they both win the next 2 games?
Well, the one thing I've decided about the committee, and I don't mean this as a criticism, it's just that if you're going to base what you think's going to happen the next time they come out on entirely what happened over the weekend and entirely what the trends seemed to show the week before, you may end up being wrong. I just think it's nobody's talking about what's going to happen when Texas A&M beats Texas. There's still so many things in our league that over the last couple of weeks are. I still think there's another twist and turn in there somewhere.
So I don't have the rankings in front of me. What's the run them down for us real quick?
Yeah, Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4, Indiana 5, Notre Dame 6, Alabama 7, Miami 8, Ole Miss 9, Georgia 10, Tennessee 11, Boise State is 12.
Okay.
All that matters is the bracket, though.
You know, I get it now. Sometimes when you're reading a list off, like I'm reading the list off and you hear me read it, your reaction's different to the person that's actually reading them off. When you hear them read off, you're like, what is that team doing there? What is that team doing there?
See?
What are they doing there? What's that?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, do it one more time.
Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4.
This is where it gets a little shaky.
Indiana 5.
What? Yeah.
Notre Dame 6, Alabama 7.
Notre Dame 6. How is Notre Dame 6?
Ole Miss 9, Georgia 10, Tennessee 11, Boise State 12, and then you have SMU, BYU, and Texas A&M, and Colorado.
And again, some of that will play. So, like Indiana, Ohio State this weekend is going to obviously have a huge impact.
If Ohio State wins that game, Indiana's going to drop out.
What happens if Indiana squeaks by on a last-second field goal? What does it do to Ohio State?
Well, it's going to.
They'll still be a top 10 team.
A loss for Indiana will hurt them more than a loss for Ohio State.
That's what's
Ohio
interesting
State.
because if we all think if Indiana loses,
I'm not saying that's right.
But we all feel like
You're right.
think the logical
Strength of
feeling
schedule
is
what
they're
a lot
going
of
to
people
plummet
say.
if they
Right.
lose to Ohio State, right?
Right.
But if Ohio State loses to them, I bet the committee gives them credit for playing a top 5 team really close.
Like they did against Oregon.
Which is it?
That's exactly what they did. Ohio State went to Oregon, lost, and they're the number 2
So
team
if they
in the
really
country.
believe, if they really believe Indiana's that good, and they lose on a last-second field goal, are they going to plummet?
Probably
like we
not.
all think they should?
Probably not.
Because it's the only tough game they've played all year?
Sometimes it's like, Notre Dame being ranked where they are right now, having lost to Northern Illinois. It's almost like sometimes people take the attitude, well, it shouldn't have happened, so we're just going to act like it didn't. We're going to act like they didn't lose to Northern Illinois. We're going to act like they're the team that has won all these other games. And a loss early in the year like that should matter late in the season. I mean, that's what
That they remember
otherwise,
in November.
otherwise, let's just not even play then. I mean, otherwise, let's just go right to the playoff. Have guys, load management. Let's just do it like the pros do.
I do agree, but the other point is a team can get a lot better as the season goes on.
I agree with
that.
that.
Much better team right now.
But that doesn't necessarily. But that
It's
doesn't
still on
mean
your
you
resume.
didn't lose that
Right,
game.
it's still on your resume.
I mean, it's part of the deal.
Here's what I think might end up happening, and I think this will open a lot of people's eyes to, if it hasn't already, just to how flawed the whole thing is. I think you're going to have 2 top 12 teams in the committee's rankings that do not make the playoff.
Wow.
As Chuck goes for the donut holes, the cronut holes.
Well, I mean, he's just going to his normal entertained self, when he sits back and he's being entertained.
Bo broke the
As
seal a little
snack.
bit earlier when he actually ate one on the air. And I thought, well, Bo can do it. I can do it.
That's right.
I think the Big 12 champion,
Goose and Gander.
I think the Big 12 champion and the ACC champion will both not be in the top 12.
One more time. One more time.
I'll even throw. I'll throw
the champion.
I got you.
I think two of the 3 champions of the Big 12, the ACC, and the Mountain West will not be in the committee's top 12.
But they'll get a bye.
But one of them presumably, at least one of them would get a bye. But what my point is, 2 top 12 teams at least are not going to be in the playoff because they'll get booted in favor of these conference champions.
Well, here's the thing I want to know is how much weight are they going to put in these conference championship games? Wins and losses.
They're going to put, it's a game. It's another game. It's
the
same they got to put in every other
If
one.
you're the one that loses, then you get hosed.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Agreed.
Because look,
it's ridiculous.
I don't think Miami's going to win the ACC. I think it's probably going to be Clemson or SMU. I think those 2 teams are better. I don't see BYU winning the Big 12, and BYU's already outside the top 12.
Who's going to be in the Big 12 championship game?
Wow.
I think
Is it going to be Colorado?
It may
Colorado,
well be.
BYU.
BYU's got a tough game at Kansas this weekend.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, not at Kansas, at Arizona State.
Hard-hitting sports
Who is
talk.
at Kansas this week?
Colorado. Colorado's a short favorite.
Can we make the first hour of the show?
The world wants to know. The world wants to know.
Can we make the first hour of the show you reading, Chuck, the show notes?
Yeah,
Tell us what happened in sports yesterday.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in the next 2 hours.
There we go. Yeah.
Who's playing this weekend?
By the way, did you see Jim McElwain retired?
He did.
Oh, my gosh, that shark photo.
Yeah.
Oh, the shark photo of what would appear to be a naked Jim McElwain on top of a dead shark.
Who hasn't done that on a big
boat.
weekend? I mean, come on. Who hasn't done something like that?
Yeah, but if you're Jim McElwain and it's not you, you just get up and you go, what did I do to deserve this? And there's probably a lot of good answers to that. But at the same time, who wakes up thinking today on the internet, there's going to be a superimposed photo of me naked on the back of a dead shark?
That was big.
That's a whole new deal to jump in the shark right there.
Did y'all see? It was maybe last year. Barstool did an investigative piece where they actually found the guy, who was in the photo.
Yeah, it was not Jim McElwain.
It was not Jim McElwain.
Just for the record.
But they interviewed Jim McElwain as part of it, and he played along with it. It was great.
I remember that now. Yeah, you can look that up. Yeah. You can look it up. By the way, high school playoffs tonight. I'm just talking about the interview and all that.
Don't put the shark photo on the screen.
We'll get taken down.
See, I'm sitting here right now.
After watching Mike Tyson walk away from that interview, I don't need to see the bare butt of another man again, ever.
To my left, nervous dad. To my right, pissed off guy who's here doesn't
Bart.
work. And you nervous for tonight?
Just taking it all in.
Fable and
Anthony
PA.
Lucas and Pulaski Academy are coming to Fayetteville, trying to ruin the Purple Rain. Of course, I'm nervous.
I know you are.
Can we start now?
What?
I got to think about this game all
Go
day
ahead.
today. I'm nervous for the kids, Chuck.
What time they play?
7:00.
Okay.
It's
packed
going
house,
to
do you
be
think?
crazy in Fayetteville tonight. You got the soccer team playing in the NCAA tournament. You got Arkansas, Little Rock, Daryl Walker playing in Bud Walton Arena. And you got Anthony Lucas and Pulaski Academy coming to face former Razorback Casey Dick, 2 former Razorback head coaches tonight. Fayetteville,
it's going to,
PA.
It's all going to converge,
And
right
it's
there
in
on
the
that one
playoffs,
street.
and there's
there at
just
the end of
going to
campus.
there's going to be millions of people in Fayetteville. Millions.
Real quick before we hit a break, just a quick note for fans
gotta
going
hurry.
to soccer or basketball. There's going to be an area of lot 56 specifically for those going to the soccer game.
That's
if
good
you're going to basketball, you still need your parking pass.
There'll be another, yes, and we're going to set up another lot for NIL across the street by Arby's. 877-377-6963.
The way you guys have fancied up the pig in the blanket, I mean, it's just kolache now is part of my vocabulary.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You know the sound, you know the place, and you know the time of year that means live racing at Oaklawn is coming. If your Oaklawn is playing favorites, letting it ride on long shots, or just soaking up the vibes of race day, it's time to make your plans and discover your Oaklawn. Live racing starts Friday, December 6th. Reserve seats, rooms in our hotel, or a spot in your favorite Oaklawn restaurant at oaklawn.com.
This is my Oaklawn.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Did you know the CDC reports as many as 3 out of 4 Americans suffer from sleep disorders? The more severe condition is called obstructive sleep apnea, and if left untreated, can increase the risk of death by 17%. It can also lead to conditions like obesity, high blood pressure, heart condition, and stroke. If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options, and thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies provided by one of our own Arkansas surgeons, Dr. Scotty Bolding, there are alternative treatments that may eliminate the need to wear CPAP every night. Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better. Call Dr. Bolding's office today at 479-755-3000 for a consultation and tell them you heard it on the Chuck and Bo Show.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
You know, there's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state, and you can add Flyway Brewing to the list, a craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock dating back to 2013. With popular flavors like Blue Wing Berry Wheat Ale, the Honeybird Blonde, and the Early Bird IPA, there's no shortage to enjoy a tasty craft beer flight at the Flyway Brewery in Fayetteville, 1550 East Zion Road, or in North Little Rock at 314 Maple Street. Flyway Craft Beer, also available in restaurants and stores everywhere.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Know what else makes you an Arkansas Razorback fan? Going to the University of Arkansas. How about playing football for the team?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears.
Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here. We live here. And we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
Let's take you as an example. You're rich. You're still here.
I am not rich, or I wouldn't be.
Guys, y'all literally have like 20 seconds.
We know that.
All right, Jimmy Dikes coming up, top of the hour. Also, I looked at the buyouts, and Sam Pittman's not even in the top 11 of SEC buyouts. We had a caller about that earlier. We got a really short moment here to tell you that it's a beautiful Friday. A lot going on this weekend. Jimmy's going to talk about hoops coming up, ESPN college basketball, Arkansas Little Rock in Fayetteville tonight.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweatnum Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to SweatnumCosmetic.com and click on the Sweatnum Edge. Is your hot water heater letting you down? No one likes cold showers. We want to be able to count on our hot water. And that's why Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric has an offer that comes with the peace of mind I value. Get this, for just $17.76, you can get a 40 to 50 gallon water heater fully supplied and installed by their licensed and insured technicians backed by a comprehensive warranty. For less than $2,000? Yeah, price check it. It's a deal. Just log on to gopascal.com and don't worry about hot water anymore.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, I'm Salem Green, Arkansas, QB, and these two guys definitely have a face for radio.
Adventure Oklahoma by Auto Finders is your one-stop shop for adventure. Plus, no one else includes a standard 5-year warranty on all ATVs. Right now, it's the Segway Season of Savings event going on. You can choose between 0.99% financing for 36 months or up to $3,000 off select UTV models in stock with payments as low as $199 per month. This offer ends soon. High-tech power sports and affordability for all adventure enthusiasts. Segway, fear no place. Visit Adventure Oklahoma in Roland. Brought to you by Auto Finders, AutoFindersOK.com. Adventure Dave says your journey starts here.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. Our high temperatures this afternoon, low 50s north, upper 50s south. We will see some frost tonight. Overnight lows will drop down in the low to mid 30s. Frosty start to Saturday, then sunshine. Our high on Saturday in the low 60s, and Sunday back in the upper 60s to low 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey and Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Witz Marine, your authorized Mercury dealer, is ready to take care of your winterization needs. With cold weather just around the corner, be sure and get your Mercruiser stern drives drained and flushed with antifreeze. For those with outboards, it's a great time to change the oil and service the lower unit. Plus, treat your fuel for a trouble-free next season. Don't get caught this winter. It's also a great time to repower the old boat with a new reliable Mercury engine. That's Witz Marine, your authorized repower center. 823 North 11th next to Wheeler Power Sports in Fort Smith.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. You're listening to ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown, Arkansas! How did he get that wide open?
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
Are we still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y-City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A Cut Above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, A Cut Above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping. Plus, A Cut Above can take care of all your leaf removal. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. That's A Cut Above, 719-5605.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
We're suckers for nostalgia. That's what sports fans do. Tyson's 58. As a 61-year-old man, I should have known what this was going to be like. But in my mind, it was Mike Tyson at 25, just like when you're in a bar and you think, well, she doesn't look at you like you're an old man. And it's like, well, of course she does. Of course she looks at you like you're an old man because you are.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it, Chuck.
Back to Save Sports Radio.
I'm ready to roll right now,
Can you believe we're doing this?
This brings back.
Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
Here is Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
You know, for an intelligent sports talk show, we talk about a lot of stupid stuff on this show.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know exactly how
well, it's called tomfoolery, grab butt, that kind of stuff that happens.
Being silly.
When you get up early.
Being silly.
Punch drunk.
I am. I woke up early today. Very early today. Too early today.
Jimmy Dikes can be silly. You don't always see it, but he can be silly.
He's a funny man.
He's professional, and so you got to kind of dig around past the layer of professionalism to get him, to fool around a little bit. But he's
a riot. He's a riot.
He's as good as it gets when it comes to analysis. And what I miss about Jimmy though is the dog competition and the hot dog eating contest. It's just not the same without him.
Do they still do that? Do they still do that, Jimmy? Good morning, by the way. We're glad you're here.
Good morning, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Chuck, they still do it, but not at the level when I was.
No, they don't. I knew the first time I saw you interviewing that dog that you were going to be a star. I knew it.
Yes. There's a lot of tomfoolery that goes on now in that broadcast. Not when I was doing it.
Yeah.
No, not when I was doing it.
That's serious.
Those are actually, honestly, those are some of the fondest memories I've had at ESPN. I mean,
I'll bet they are in all seriousness.
Some great basketball games, but those are just fun.
Yeah.
If you can't have fun interviewing a dog after he jumped in the water chasing his ball, then I don't know.
I wish it was still on. I'd watch it all the time.
Well, I haven't seen it, but he said it's on somewhere.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'll have to Google it.
But we used to fight. We didn't fight. We used to actually beg, plead, and strike deals to be able to work the great outdoor games. Because they would use basketball announcers, football announcers. They didn't care. Just people that wanted to go in the summer and watch guys, climb the lumberjack competitions and the log rolling and the dogs, and it was awesome.
It does sound like a lot of fun. I mean, it really does.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of television is made out of entertainment, and that's why we watch sports, because often it's entertaining in maybe a little bit different way. And
so I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this real quick because I think it's kind of funny. So they called me the first year and said, "Hey, we want you to be the analyst on the Big Air Dog Competition." So I said, "Well, what is that?" And they said, "These guys train their dogs. They're mainly hunting dogs, but they train their dogs to sit at the back of a dock, and they'll walk to the front of the dock, probably about 30 yards, and they'll time it. And when that dog comes sprinting, they'll throw that bumper out in front of that dog, and we'll see how far the dog jumps. It's like the long jump competition for dogs." I said, "Great." I said, "Send me a competition in the past so I can kind of listen and watch and kind of learn the sport." And they said, "Well, we've never done it before, so whatever you say is going to be true."
Your tape is going to be used for the next guy we hire to do this. That's right. They'll be going, we don't want to do it like that. We tried it like that last year and it didn't work. We're going to do a little different this year. Yeah.
That's where I came up with nuggets like a strong 2-pod push right there at the end of the dock.
2-pod push.
Yeah.
Big.
You can't, if you're a dog, you can't jump off of one. It's like in basketball, you got to be powerful. It's a strong 2-pod push.
That's fantastic.
How'd we get into this?
Oh, it's great. That's what we do.
That's what talk radio is all about, Jimmy.
We got a very strict goofing off policy. We're all for it. Jimmy Dikes with us, ESPN. We brought him on to talk basketball, believe it or not. Daryl Walker and Arkansas Little Rock, the Trojans, playing at Bud Walton Arena tonight. Jimmy, what do you make of what we've seen from John Calipari at Arkansas so far?
No, it's really the same, pretty much the same game plan that I've seen at Kentucky. Because remember, he was having brand new teams every year before it was cool to have brand new teams. So he's been through this when he brought in, all new freshmen at Kentucky and had a couple leftover guys. He's been used to starting new. So as a result of that, it has always taken Cal time to figure out the best way for his team to play, who he can count on, who can do what, and his team has always gotten better, I think, over the course of the year, and they've changed. They've changed how they've played. And I've even seen years with him where a guy that we weren't even talking about in November or December becomes one of his main guys in February. Now, I don't know if that'll be the case this year because he's using all the available NIL guys that he's got, but I think what you're seeing from Cal is a guy that, like everybody else across college ball, that has brand new teams. Right? I had Illinois and somebody.
Alabama. Alabama. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, I'm keeping up with your schedule, Jimmy.
Illinois and Alabama, and Illinois is going through the same thing, like a whole new team. So it takes a while. But again, when when I watch Arkansas play, I do like where they are defensively. I think he has more of an emphasis and his team's attention on the defensive end with this group more than he has the last 4 or 5 years at Kentucky.
How big is it going to be to either get Adu back or if he doesn't come back? I mean, I don't have any idea. I don't think we've heard a timeline on how long he's going to be out. And I'm not projecting anything, but I also can remember times in the past where you're like, that guy's going to be back soon, and he never really comes back. So I'm wondering what they look like with or without him.
Well, they need him to be the all-SEC Jonas Adu that he was at Tennessee, because he wasn't a great offensive player, but he was a very solid offensive threat on the inside. But more importantly, defensively, he played on I think Tennessee finished either second or third in the nation last year in defensive efficiency. So he comes grounded, man, really grounded on the defensive end of the floor. And that's a big part of what Calipari, I know, wants to do. I think I told you guys before that Cal's best teams, his national championship teams, were top 15, top 20 defensive teams. So I think Adu defensively is a big deal for Arkansas this year. He's a really big deal. I wouldn't want Big Z being my defensive 5 guy the entire season. What he gives you offensively as your 5 is really good, but defensively, probably not going to hold up like you want to. So I think I hadn't talked to Cal in a while, but I think you're just waiting now for Jonas Adu to get completely healthy, and hopefully it's before SEC play, so he can be that 20, 22-minute guy that on the defensive end of the floor you feel really good about that 5 spot. In this league this year in the SEC, you have to have it.
Jimmy, we talked about you calling the Illinois-Alabama game. Hogs have Illinois Thanksgiving Day, and obviously Alabama's going to be part of the league schedule. What was your takeaway after watching those two teams?
Yeah, well, first of all, just that game against Illinois on Thanksgiving evening, I think after an NFL game, right?
That's right. Well, in the middle of the afternoon.
No,
middle of the afternoon.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, middle of the afternoon in Kansas City.
After the first one, probably. Yeah.
Okay, but it's on Thanksgiving, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, that's the Calipari effect. That's going to have a major viewing audience. And what you're going to see from Illinois, Chuck, that's a completely rebuilt team. They went to the Elite Eight last year, but they only returned one guy that was kind of a part-time guy. So he's got a brand-new system, Brad Underwood does, offensively. And it's a heavy NBA ball screen, pick and pop, pick and roll, spread you out, drive you, because he brought in 3 big-time international guys that have a lot of experience against pros in Europe. And Big Z's brother, Tommy Ivicevic, is twin brother and very similar to Big Z that Arkansas has, maybe a little better at the 2-point part of the floor, just watching him play for Illinois. But that's a high-level game. And Illinois I'm not so sure by the time we get to March that Illinois is not going to be the best team in the Big Ten. Indiana right now, probably a lot of people would throw them up there instead. I think Illinois is a really good team, and that's going to be a tough test.
Jimmy Dikes, ESPN college basketball analyst with us. John Calipari, you mentioned the effect, like some of these big games they're going to get to play in, big stages. We've seen it at play also from a standpoint of, Cal's talking on his post-game show and hey, man, if you don't use your tickets, give them to friends, whatever. I mean, we've heard these things before. He's not the first person to say it. But, man, it went viral. And I made the point that we're no longer our own business in this state because Cal is like a national figure. Expand on that if you would. I think we all get that on some level, but I don't know if we really understand what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, in the past when Arkansas in non-conference would have 9,000 or 10,000 people there, it wasn't even a story. But it is now with Coach Cal. From the time that he walked out in Bud Walton Arena as the head coach, he's a national story. Everything he does, every recruit that he gets and doesn't get, how he schedules, how he doesn't schedule, how he wins, how he doesn't win, how many people are in the arena and not in the arena, and that's just part of having a Hall of Fame coach that's a lightning rod that people have very strong opinions about. They either love him or they hate him. There's a bunch of Arkansas fans that had to go back through when he got hired and delete some of the things they posted on social media over the last 10 years.
That's right.
They went and they quickly deleted those things about Coach Cal because now he's our guy.
Yeah.
Don't say anything about our guy. But that's what you get with Cal. And I mean, I know there's been bad weather. I think at one of the home games,
right.
A Monday night game, a Wednesday night game, but Cal expects that place to be full. I just get the feeling he expects that place to be full because in his mind, and he's right, he left a great job for a great job, and I think he expects Bud Walton Arena to look a little different going forward for the rest of the year, and I think he did a good job of getting that message out. That, you know, he's one of 6 guys in the college game that's currently won a national championship. He came here to do it for Arkansas, and it's going to take everybody doing their part, and part of that's on the fans. And I know Fayetteville isn't a big city. Northwest Arkansas doesn't have it's not
Lexington
heavily populated, but there's enough there to have 15 or 16 every time they step on the floor. That's not a shot at Arkansas's fans or anything. That's just the vision of John Calipari. That's how he sees everything he does as a CEO of an organization. He knows that's what this should look like. If we say we're one of the top 10 programs in college basketball, then when we step in this arena, this is what it should look like on every night. And then on the big games, there's not a place to sit, but we can't walk out here and be half full. That's just the vision of him. I hope I explained
I
said that
you
right.
Articulated it really well. Daryl Walker, former Razorback, you know well, with Arkansas Little Rock. He's won Coach of the Year twice since taking over that job in 2018. Won the Sun Belt. Now they're in the Ohio Valley Conference. Won that league. They just got a big road win at Tulsa. They're a 21-point underdog. Little Rock is tonight at Arkansas. Do you expect them to give the Razorbacks any trouble?
I do. You know, I think they're picked to win their league or at the top of their league, I'm pretty sure. And you guys know, I mean, Chuck's a lifer like I am at Arkansas. When you played at Arkansas, you're from Arkansas, if you're playing or coaching for Arkansas or you come back against Arkansas, that game just means a whole lot more, to steal the SEC slogan. And Daryl was one of the most competitive guys to ever put on an Arkansas uniform. And man, he was a street fighter at his core. And I don't know how good Little Rock is. I expect him to come in there with that same Daryl Walker attitude. And I know Daryl's got just a massive amount of appreciation for what that university did for him. You know, just like all of us have gone through there some form or fashion. I think Joe Klein's calling the game tonight, and that's going to be just a lot of good memories for Daryl. But I think anytime you come back like that, you're going to make sure your team's as ready to play as they can be. And we know about Arkansas's depth and all that, but I think Arkansas will win the game. I think Daryl's team will make them work. And you know, Daryl wouldn't be there tonight if it wasn't for playing at Arkansas and Eddie and Patsy staying on his butt to make sure he got his degree. And he finally did, and it set him up for a great career. And I'm really happy for Daryl, man. That's a guy that loves ball. He could be doing a lot of things besides coaching at Arkansas Little Rock, but he loves ball, and I know the Arkansas fans should give him a great round of applause when he's introduced tonight.
That's great stuff. Jimmy, thanks for hopping on with us always, man. Really appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Appreciate your work. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. See you.
Thanks, man. He said that about Daryl Walker. So I interviewed Daryl Walker for a Hog Pod last night, and he talked about, Chuck, when he came back to get his degree at 40 years old.
Well, I remember Daryl when he played at West Ark for Gail Condart.
And there was a line out the door to go watch a game.
There was a line to watch him play, and when he came to Fayetteville to play for the Razorbacks, I think he would tell you the same thing. That was a wild kid. And it's remarkable. I think Daryl Walker is one of the best guys out there who happens to be a former Razorback. I can tell you, we're about the same age, and Daryl was one of, if I were to name my top 5 favorite Razorbacks, he'd be on the list.
That's high praise. 1993, won a NBA championship with Jordan and the Bulls.
That's right.
Solomon, Last Dance on the Netflix documentary. He'll be bringing Arkansas Little Rock in tonight to play the Razorbacks at Bud Walton Arena. Chuck and Bo Show, 7:18. Glad you're here on a Friday.
It's going to be a tough slog from now till the end of time.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
Save up to $15,000 off. The Red Tag savings are back at Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Your choice. Save up to $15,000 off new Silverados or up to $15,000 off new Blazer EVs. That's how we do Red Tag savings at Chevrolet of Fayetteville in the Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Together, let's drive. ChevroletofFayetteville.com. Savings include dealer discounts and all incentives on select models. Must qualify. See dealer for details. Expires 12/2/24.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweat No Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to sweatnomecosmetic.com and click on the Sweat No Edge.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Save Sports Radio.
Witz Marine, your authorized Mercury dealer, is ready to take care of your winterization needs. With cold weather just around the corner, be sure to get your Mercruiser stern drives drained and flushed with antifreeze. For those with outboards, it's a great time to change the oil and service the lower unit. Plus, treat your fuel for a trouble-free next season. Don't get caught this winter. It's also a great time to repower the old boat with a new reliable Mercury engine. That's Witz Marine, your authorized repower center, 823 North 11th next to Wheeler Power Sports in Fort Smith.
I doubt you thought paint was anything like football, right? So you've got a favorite football team. Your painting team at the paint store in Van Buren gets you a solid primer, the perfect color, and a durable defense. That is what you want, right? Our team of Richards Paint and expertise always win for you. Whether contractor or do-it-yourself, we have the best team. The paint store in Van Buren. Go Hogs!
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
You never know what you will walk up on or find over the hill at the Tackle Box. For almost 50 years, the Tackle Box has been your home for hunting and fishing supplies and some of the best outdoor stories. Whether guns, ammo, fishing supplies, or home decor, come back and see them again. They even buy your old fishing tackle or guns. The Tackle Box, your sports store for hunting, fishing, firearms, and more. 3001 0 Street, Fort Smith, 646-3193.
The adventure starts at the Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Does the show feel like it's always a friendly environment? I was going to say, just like
I guess it depends on which side of the fence you're on.
It's friendly. Sometimes you get yelled at, but it's still friendly. We have donuts. We have
Bart's friendly.
We have
Bart and Edward friendly.
We have donut holes.
We
have
trained
coffee.
ourselves.
We've trained ourselves. We're taking a mediocre victory lap today.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You know, over the years, I've always thought I'd like to maybe be a news reporter for a month or two, go down and cover the state legislature, where the real action happens.
You're kind of a political geek.
Yeah, well, not anymore. But when I was younger, I was kind of into that. And I thought it'd be, because those guys are about half crazy.
Let's be honest, you like to hold court.
I do like to hold court.
You like
You're
to
right.
hold a room.
That's exactly right. But at any rate, we talked about this 50-50 thing that's been going on, the raffle, and that was all the rage 6 weeks ago. Well, the state legislature's gotten their hands on it, which, of course, means that everything's going to be okay. And R.J. Hawk, our friend, introduced a bill yesterday on this 50-50 stuff. The bottom line is R.J.'s bill allows the universities to basically run their own 50-50 raffle at games. The way this works is schools contract out with companies that run these raffles, just like pro teams do. I mean, pro teams aren't running it on their own. They're contracting it out. And schools can contract it out, and they get NIL money, and the winner of the raffle gets their 50%. And the company that administers the raffle gets their take, and everybody walks out of the place with more money than they had when they walked in, theoretically.
Except for the people that spent the money on the raffle.
Except for the people that spent the money on the technology to implement the 50-50 too. And because essentially what this bill does, it takes it out of the hands of the casinos. Saracen has been wanting to be involved in this, and we had Carlton Saffo on the show, and they've invested in technology, and they want it on their app, and it was a big talking point. The way I read this, and I'm not going to pretend I understand all the inner workings of how House bills work, but the way I read this, schools are still going to get the NIL money, but it's going to be administered by an outside party, and casinos, at least local casinos, aren't going to be involved.
So here's the layman's way that I understand this.
All right.
Bet Saracen, the app, just like Oaklawn Sports, you can go gamble on sports on that app. What you can't do right now is go play live table games like blackjack on an app legally in Arkansas. It's called iGaming. What one company wants to do is they want to be able to make that legal, and they're using the raffle as a way to do that. And they're not wrong in saying the raffle will be worth a lot more money, and that'll be worth a lot more money to NIL. But this is where we get into a political issue and a voting issue in our state. Do we want to make iGaming legal? Because what has yet to happen is for anybody to say, we'll run that on a gambling app, but it's the only gambling of that kind that you can do on that app.
Right.
So it's attached to, can you play blackjack right now on your phone and get paid to do it legally in our state? Actual money like you would bet on a game. So you don't have to go to a casino. You just bet whatever you want on your phone, slot machine, whatever it is, legally. Right now, that's not legal in our state. So when we talk about, this could be worth millions to NIL, it's not in a vacuum. The question's not, do we want millions for NIL? It's, do we want millions for NIL and all the things that come along with it?
Right.
That's what the residents of our state would have to decide. And so it's not as cut and dried as, you said no, so you don't want NIL. There's a much bigger decision at play. So in the meantime, they're like, well, we can still execute the raffle, but it's not going to be worth millions. It's going to be more like tens of hundreds of thousands. It's still more than you have right now. But the argument is, if you do it this other way, we make iGaming legal, it's worth millions.
Well, that's the trade. That's the trade.
But there's a lot of things that we can say are worth money that we don't think is a healthy thing for our state, right?
I agree with that.
I mean, that's the debate. I'm not weighing in per se.
I have always theoretically been for the 50-50. I am for the 50-50. It's not something I'm going to do, but if somebody wants to do it, it's fine. I've been to pro games all my life. They do the 50-50. I've never bought a 50-50 ticket. Probably never will. But if somebody wants to do it,
when's the last time you
bought
a Powerball ticket?
Well, it's been a while. But
for me, it's got to get up to like 300 million.
Well, I mean,
I don't really mess with 122 mil. Like 300 million.
I don't either.
If I think about it, I'll go buy.
But here's the thing, and
big difference.
To hear the way you explain it, and I will admit, I'm not as knowledgeable about this as maybe some, and I freely admit that. When the casino says we're not taking a dime, you may not be taking a dime for that, but you're going to be taking a dime for, full-fledged online gaming. And that's basically on what you said right there. That's the trade-off, that you're not necessarily going to have one without the other if it's in the hands of a casino. And if I'm wrong, I can be corrected. But from the outside looking in, that's been my read on it. But if the final purpose is to raise money for NIL, this accomplishes that. Now, who gets what and how much, I don't know. But I am comforted in knowing that the state legislature is going to get to the bottom of this.
You feel good about it?
Yeah,
I feel like R.J. Hawk and Carlton Safa
sarcastic.
are going to end up in a ring somewhere and probably make money on it. And then that's what they should do. Those guys should just fight, and then we could take that money and give it to NIL.
I don't know if the people of Arkansas, this is just my read. I can be completely wrong. My read right now is the people of Arkansas are okay with the 50-50, not okay with being able to play blackjack and doing a lot of those things on your phone the way you described a little bit earlier. My sense is more Arkansans than not would be against that. But more Arkansans than not are principally for the idea of a 50-50 raffle.
I have two quick points here. One, just because this bill has been introduced and could become a reality doesn't mean that things can also change down the road. Let's not lose sight of that. Bills change, laws change all the time. So one does not prohibit the other from happening at some point. That's point number one. Point number two, and this has always been my take with the 50-50 raffle, is that I am in favor of it. Just do the 50-50 raffle. Just make it to where you do the 50-50 raffle without everything else that comes with iGaming. Figure out a way to do that, and you'll have your raffle.
I said a minute ago my sense about Arkansans. I also say this. I think all you've got to do is mention the words NIL and people are immediately turned off.
That's true.
They immediately they just don't want to talk about it, whether it's paying players, whether it's raffle, whatever. They'll make money off the 50-50 raffle. There's no doubt about that. Now, but it's like you say, how much? I mean, I don't know.
Brought to you in part by First Security Bank, the official bank of the Chuck and Bo Show. More friendly locations all over our state. It's a welcoming environment. It's a Razorback environment. The great people of Arkansas and the great people of First Security Bank. A great combination. FSbank.com. You can check them out online. First Security Bank, member FDIC. 7:32. It's the Chuck and Bo Show on a Friday.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one Razorback. Number one.
This holiday season, give a gift that sparkles brighter than ever. A diamond from Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, premier destination for diamonds in Northwest Arkansas. At Blakeman's, we don't just help you find the perfect diamond, we guide you through the journey, teaching you everything you need to know to make the most meaningful choice. Whether it's for a proposal under the mistletoe, or a holiday anniversary, or simply a way to say I love you. Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
A great pair. Really honored that you guys are doing this, listening over here in Jonesboro.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line podcast network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
'Tis the season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. And now enjoy breakfast till noon. Available for limited time at participating locations. Items may vary.
Black Friday Christmas shopping is underway at Jelco Outdoors. Now through Saturday. All regular price clothing 25% off this week. Work clothing, casual clothing, western clothing, hunting clothing, fishing clothing, men's, women's, and children. If it's clothing, it's 25% off this week at Jelco Outdoors. All Yeti and Yukon Outfitters ice chests, coolers, tumblers, and cups. Save 25% this week. Don't miss the Black Friday sale week at Jelco Outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howell in Van Buren.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Ty Richardson, we're at Wheeler Power Sports in downtown Fort Smith. Lindsay, what's going on this month?
We have the new Kawasaki Ridge side-by-sides in stock. Most of them have a full cab with heat and air. They have a 1000cc inline 4-cylinder engine. We also have new Kawasaki Brute Force 450s and 750s in stock. And we are stocked up for dirt bikes and ATVs for the holiday season. Come by and see us or visit WheelerPowersports.com.
Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
So if I get offended right there, do you get offended at me for being offended?
No, I don't get offended at you for being offended, but I do think there's an issue with you.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Issue-oriented morning radio. Here we are. Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Oh, no.
877-377.
Are we sure we want to do that?
We're less than an hour away from Bart's Locks. I mean, we got Zach Gillum coming up at 8:30. We got to do Bart's locks before that.
That's right. And we don't have to wait either.
No, I mean we can do them at any point, but we got to get them in.
I think we got to do it this hour.
Okay, that's fine. I got no problem with that.
Sam Pittman was on the SEC teleconference this week, Chuck, and we were just talking about the new Raffle bill and the NIL conversation around it, and people just throw up in their mouth a little bit when they hear NIL.
I know they do.
But we're about to be into a revenue share, and sometimes we forget that we don't explain it enough. What's a revenue share? Schools are now going to be able to share the revenue that comes in, like from these TV contracts the conferences divvy out to the schools. The SEC, Bart, I don't remember what the last payout was, but I mean, it's $50 million.
Million-ish.
Every school gets it every summer. And so now some of that money can be actually given to the student athletes, which I don't know why we're still calling them student athletes, but the players.
For the same reason we call it revenue share.
Right.
I mean, they're going to be paying the players.
Okay, so now you're going to have $20+ million that you can give to players. You don't have to go out and raise the money. It's money that comes in, and they're now part of your budget. So they're like other employees, basically, that you give money to. That changes the game because you're not starting at zero and having to raise money. You can still go raise money above that, and schools will. But the discrepancy doesn't appear as though it will be quite what it is today. And so Pittman actually kind of weighed in on this, and I thought it was interesting to hear the Arkansas head coach's perspective.
Do you feel like you guys are going to have what you need financially to build a championship caliber program next year?
I think we're going to have certainly a lot better chance. And, some people are going to take that as I'm making excuses. I'm not. You asked the question.
Sure.
When you're half the money of your competitors, it makes it very, very difficult to recruit. Yes. Do I think that this will allow us an opportunity to go out and financially recruit with the rest of the teams in the SEC? Absolutely. Were we able to do that in the past 3 years? No.
I hope he's right. I really do. And that's been my hope throughout all this, is that with the revenue share and that with schools, it's being estimated that, most schools, all schools in the SEC are going to spend somewhere between 20 to 25 million. Whatever the cap is, they're going to max it out. You're still going to have NIL, though. And, in a perfect world, at least in my perfect world, you have the revenue share, the players get paid by the schools, and NIL is outlawed. But it's not going to happen that way. I understand all that. My fear in all of this is that you're going to pay $20 to $25 million for all your student athletes out there, and then you're still going to be in the same arms race for NIL money. And that instead of leveling the playing field, you've just increased the size of the playing field. There's more money out there, but NIL still is what tips the scales at the end of the day. I hope that doesn't happen. That's my fear in all this. I hope Coach Pittman's right. It's been what I've hoped for from the very beginning. Arkansas is going to have more money to spend, but so is everybody else.
So here's my question. How does the market decide they're going to handle the money? And here's what I mean. Are we going to just simply pay players more? So instead of getting, let's just make up a number, $500,000 this year, you're now getting $1.5 million. And so all we did was take more money.
That's right.
And pay the highest bidder, or the highest bidder gets these players. And so it lifts everybody's, quote, salary. Or do we not do that? Do we not chase down the guy that's getting $1.5 million? And what you actually have is not as many players as Georgia, but you were able to afford half of them. So you don't have the depth, but you were able to afford better players. And so theoretically, like a Major League Baseball team, you're not as good as the Yankees in their loaded roster, but you have enough good players to compete, and maybe their roster doesn't come together like they thought they did.
That's the hope.
That's
the hope.
I'm not sure.
And it happens all the time in pro sports.
We just don't know exactly which way it's going to go, but those are kind of the two ways I think it could go.
And it will probably go both ways. It just depends on which school you are. For some schools, it's going to be great. For some schools, it's just going to be the same as it ever was.
So let me try to ask a question that I think describes a little bit of what's going on. Is it logical, first of all, to say or make the point that Sam Pittman has had half the money that his competitors have had to go get players?
In some cases, that has certainly been true.
Has he been playing with one arm behind his back? Okay, if he has, is it also then fair to say he's done a heck of a job to get the program to where it is today with one hand tied behind his back, with a chance to go to a bowl game, maybe win 7, have a 500 or better, what would it be, a 500 record in the league this year? That hasn't happened a ton at Arkansas. So when you say this guy won 6-7 games, we didn't have a revenue sharing situation. We had an NIL situation. A bunch of schools had a lot more money than Arkansas did. If you were how about this? If you were representing Sam Pittman, would that be a fair argument? And so when we have these conversations about whether he's done a good job or not, I just think that's part of it. I think if you want to be fair about the conversation, that's just part of it. You got to acknowledge that.
Well, there's no question. I mean, payroll matters. I mean, payroll matters at all levels of sports. In college sports, in terms of payroll now, it's not that much different than the pros. You gotta manage your payroll.
So then the second question, and first I'll make this point. I think people sometimes get upset if they don't like the way things are going. We don't like the way things are going when they're losing either. But they get upset when we point out things like, hey, Arkansas's got some deficiencies in their recruiting radius. And you say, well, let's go to the transfer portal. They got some deficiencies in what they can afford. And so those things are real. Now, here's my second question. Does this, and we just kind of talked about it, does this change that? Does it change any part of Arkansas being a 6.2 win program since joining the SEC? Because largely of a lack of in-state talent overall compared to other schools, and a lack of a population within 4 hours of your campus that other schools enjoy with great players inside that 4 or 5 hour radius. So now we have a new infusion in college athletics. Is that infusion going to help Arkansas? Like, is it going to win more than 6 games on a regular basis? We understand, like, sometimes you can do that already. But on a regular basis, does it jump them ahead of anybody else in the league?
No. I don't think so. I think that because it's not like the other schools aren't going to be getting money too. I think it gives Arkansas more money to go out and sign players, but it gives other schools more money to go out and sign players too. All you're just, you're raising the bar on how much players are going to be paid, but nothing that has happened in college football since perhaps integration, nothing has tilted the balance of power the way everyone thinks it's going to. You're still going to have the same 15, 20, 25 teams, generally speaking, rule the roost in college football because it's more important to them. It's more important to them. And I don't think the revenue distribution is going to change all that. I think it's going to help certain schools. I hope Arkansas is one of them. There's a path for it too. There's no doubt about that. But there's also a path out there where the rich are still going to be getting richer and the poor are still going to be struggling to make ends meet. Because, again, we'll have more money, but so will everybody else. It's kind of like Arkansas has gotten a whole lot better as a program over the last 20, 30 years since they joined the SEC. But the other schools didn't stop moving forward. And so you're in my mind, I don't know that the balance of power is really going to be shifted all that much.
We'll take some calls when we come back. 877-377-6963. Hey, by the way, you hear us talk about this from time to time. If you suffer from sleep apnea, or maybe you don't realize you do, and you just wake up tired all the time, you might have sleep apnea, and a lot of people don't like the CPAP machine. There are other options besides a CPAP machine, but if you're not sleeping great at night and you have sleep apnea, it can cause major health issues for you besides just being tired. It really runs up your risk for severe health problems. There are other options beyond the CPAP. Dr. Scotty Bolding, who many of us have known for years, Arkansas native, was once a manager on Eddie Sutton's basketball staff, world-renowned surgeon that we're lucky to have right here. And he has surgical alternatives that could change the way you breathe. You could breathe better, sleep better. Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine. The Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine, Precedent.com. Precedent. Precedent.com. Arkansas, you can breathe better. Back in a minute on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I've been waiting to say this for 5 years. Sterling in Center Ridge.
This is quite the coup that they have put together. Bo and Chuck, this is a dream team.
Did you know the CDC reports as many as 3 out of 4 Americans suffer from sleep disorders? The more severe condition is called obstructive sleep apnea, and if left untreated, can increase the risk of death by 17%. It can also lead to conditions like obesity, high blood pressure, heart condition, and stroke. If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options, and thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies provided by one of our own Arkansas surgeons, Dr. Scotty Bolding, there are alternative treatments that may eliminate the need to wear CPAP every night. Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better. Call Dr. Bolding's office today at 479-755-3000 for a consultation and tell them you heard it on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. Watch closely now, for there's one more surprise, a gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heated air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with over $5,100 in savings. Plus, receive a whole home duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Special financing available with no payments and no interest. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
You know the sound, you know the place, and you know the time of year that means live racing at Oaklawn is coming. If your Oaklawn is playing favorites, letting it ride on long shots, or just soaking up the vibes of race day, it's time to make your plans and discover your Oaklawn. Live racing starts Friday, December 6th. Reserve seats, rooms in our hotel, or a spot in your favorite Oaklawn restaurant at oaklawn.com.
This is my Oaklawn.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Having great vision enhances every part of life. That's why I go to McDonald Eye Associates. Whether it's a pair of readers or LASIK surgery, you know you're in good hands. You've heard former quarterback and now coach Ty Story talk about his great LASIK results with McDonald Eye. The surgeons there have done more LASIK procedures than anybody in the state of Arkansas and have helped numerous athletes get better results through improved vision. When it comes to vision, nobody sees it like McDonald Eye.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
And Hog Noxious, our listeners just don't let us down. He said, Chuck, explain it to them. Smash or trash by saying swipe right or left.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Here with Grant Neal, General Manager at Rhodes Chevrolet. Grant, it looks like your quality and quantity of pre-owns just keeps getting better.
Yeah, it's really getting a lot better, and the reason is because we're selling more new cars. More new inventories rolling in, and with that, we get better trade-ins, which are the highest quality used cars we get. They're all going through our shop, getting a high-quality inspection from our certified technicians, making sure that everything works and it stops, starts, and steers safely, because we want everything out on the lot to be at a high quality. But we have something for everybody, whether you're looking for a cheap set of wheels just to get around, or you need a new primary car for the family, a new truck for work. whatever it is, I promise we're going to have something for you on our pre-owned lot.
What if someone needs financing or doesn't have the best credit? Can you help them?
Absolutely. Our finance director, Robert Good, is an expert at working with the banks. We've had people who said that they'll never be able to buy a car, drive out of here in a brand new set of wheels. And as we know, the Fed just did another cut in rates, so it's only going to get better as the year goes on.
2800 Alma Highway, Van Buren. It's Road Chevrolet, where we make car buying great again.
When your carpets, upholstery, and floors look dirty and stained, call your local Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Service Master Clean is an industry leader and can remove the toughest stains from your home or office. And they back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or online at servicemasterpc.com.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
It's National Absurdity Day.
I plan on celebrating.
Well, I think we already have.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That's every day here. Every day. Brent's in Cersei. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. Glad you're here. Brent, what's going on?
How are you, Chuck and Bo?
Never better, Brent.
Me either. I'm on the back porch having a heater, everything, and a cup of coffee. Everything's wonderful.
Well, good.
I want to thank you guys for explaining you're doing a great job explaining revenue sharing and the NIL. I really appreciate it because it's opened up my eyes that so the way I see it, we're going to get every SEC school is going to get between $20 and $23 million.
Well, they're not going to they're already getting the money. They've been spending it for other things, and now they got to spend it on the players. You don't have to spend that money. It's no requirement. But if you don't, try signing one.
We got about 20 seconds, Brent. Hurry and make your point. Sorry to cut you short.
And so NIL is like a little extra spending change, right?
That's going to add to it, like health insurance, Aflac. NIL's Aflac.
Sorry for the short segment. It's the question of now that everybody's sharing some revenue that's earmarked for players, does it change the game, or do players just get paid more and it kind of keeps it where it is?
13 Days of Deals starts now at Fayetteville Auto Park. There's never been a better time to buy. For the next 13 days only, everything is on sale. Aggressively priced up front, based on the Kelley Blue Book Price Advisor. Tons of pre-owned below $29,999, plus all your favorite new models. Honda, Acura, Toyota, Chevrolet, and more. Our biggest sales event ever. Now through November 30th at Fayetteville Auto Park. If you've been waiting for the best time to buy, this is it. Tons of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose. The deals of the year are here at Fayetteville Auto Park. We've got a great selection of pre-owned, many priced under $29,999, but only for a limited time. Closeout pricing means you save big on every new or pre-owned. What are you waiting for? You've only got a few days to lock in these limited time offers. Absolutely ends November 30th at Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show, located on West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Online at FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Pre-owned sale. All offers mutually exclusive. Expires 11/30/24.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweatnum Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to SweatnumCosmetic.com and click on the Sweatnum Edge.
You say, well, that's a tough thing to say. Well, we live in a tough world.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Are
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages, or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. Our high temperatures this afternoon, low 50s north, upper 50s south. We will see some frost tonight. Overnight lows will drop down in the low to mid 30s. Frosty start to Saturday, then sunshine. Our high on Saturday in the low 60s, and Sunday back in the upper 60s to low 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Up to $3,000 off and 0.9% financing on all 2024 Buick Encore GXs at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Encore GX is a boldly styled 5-person SUV that is ready to reward. Up to $3,000 off and 0.9% financing for well-qualified buyers. This is a limited time offer. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith and online at harryrobinson.com. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Are you sure this is legal?
I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Here with Grant Neal, General Manager at Rhodes Chevrolet. Grant, it looks like your quality and quantity of pre-owns just keeps getting better.
Yeah, it's really getting a lot better, and the reason is because we're selling more new cars. More new inventories rolling in, and with that, we get better trade-ins, which are the highest quality used cars we get. They're all going through our shop, getting a high-quality inspection from our certified technicians, making sure that everything works and it stops, starts, and steers safely, because we want everything out on the lot to be at a high quality. But we have something for everybody, whether you're looking for a cheap set of wheels just to get around, or you need a new primary car for the family, a new truck for work, whatever it is, I promise we're going to have something for you on our pre-owned lot.
What if someone needs financing or doesn't have the best credit? Can you help them?
Absolutely. Our finance director, Robert Good, is an expert at working with the banks. We've had people who said that they'll never be able to buy a car, drive out of here in a brand new set of wheels. And as we know, the Fed just did another cut in rates, so it's only going to get better as the year goes on.
2800 on the highway, Van Buren. It's Rhodes Chevrolet, where we make car buying great again.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y-City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A Cut Above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, A Cut Above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping. Plus, A Cut Above can take care of all your leaf removal. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. That's A Cut Above, 719-5605.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
You know, one of the things I admire about you, David from Cersei, was just going on about what a great play-by-play man you
Okay,
are.
all right. What are we doing here?
One of the things
I'm getting set up.
I admire about you is how you can still call a game and nobody would have any idea the game started after your bedtime.
Let's say it's called a daytime nap. It's called a daytime nap.
That is not mediocre, I promise.
If they play at 8 o'clock, one thing you can be certain of is that Chuck had a nap during the day.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a called play, and I called it, Chuck.
Back to Save Sports Radio.
I'm ready to roll right now,
Can you believe we're doing this?
This brings back.
Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
Here is Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
How was your evening?
It's good. I watched TV. I watched the snow game. It was great. I loved it.
Jameis Winston is a national treasure.
I loved it.
He is a national treasure. If we have time this hour, I'll play some clips from Jameis Winston because they're just entertaining. But we got so many things to get to. I don't know if we have time for all that. But I do want to know what you did last night because it's gotten to the point where you live such a public life that we always know what you're doing. For example, we know what you're doing tonight. We know what you did on Wednesday. Sam Pittman live. Tuesday, Calipari live. Then you Monday had the basketball game that you called. Tonight you're calling a basketball game again. So I'll be honest, I feel a little left out. I don't know what you did last night.
I went to Walmart.
Okay.
I went to Walmart and bought some supplies.
Did you have like a signing?
No,
at Walmart. Or you went to get some
walk the aisles
supplies.
and went and got some supplies. Yeah, and came back home. And as I was driving home, I heard on ESPN Arkansas that it was snowing in Cleveland. And my plan was to go home and watch Georgia Tech and NC State and go to bed. But then I heard about the snow.
Nature had other plans.
Yeah, that changed everything. So
awesome.
So I came home and watched the snow game on TV.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah,
it was just a phenomenal.
It was good television. It was
experience.
Visually appealing, and with the new, with the nice televisions now, you can actually see the crystals in the snow, that falls. It looks great.
You can actually see.
Yeah,
it's true. Not every snowflake is alike.
That's exactly.
In fact,
they're all
no
different.
two
I don't know
that
if you
are the
guys
same.
know this.
I
there's
saw
no
it
two
on my
snowflakes
television.
the same.
I was like, look at that. Oh, look at that.
Exactly.
Oh, so pretty.
See? Exactly.
That's great.
It captures your attention.
What a TV you have.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah. How
nice.
big's your
Well,
TV?
it ought to be.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, what you have to pay for those things now, it ought to be good.
Okay.
No, it was good.
The Arkansas women played last night.
I watched.
It's been a
I
tough.
watched part of that.
Look, it's been a tough go. They lost to Oral Roberts by 21. They're 3-3. It's the worst 6-game start since 2015, 2016. And I'm just going to tell you, I have no problem making excuses for Mike Neighbors. And I'll tell you why. Because they don't have any money for NIL. And other teams do. And there aren't that many great women's college basketball players. There's a lot more great men's basketball players. There's a lot more great college football players that you can go get. But when you have a handful of teams in college athletics, women's basketball, that has the money to spend, you have a very difficult – the gap. We talk about a little bit of parity like in SEC football. Even with Arkansas's NIL football troubles, they've been able to compete a little bit, right? Like you take – if there's 50 really good women's college basketball players, the drop down from that is tremendous. And if you don't have any of those – you're going to struggle. Now, you're still losing to teams like Oral Roberts. Maybe you shouldn't lose to. But some of those teams have, I don't know what all the details are, but I just know Arkansas hasn't been able to go out and get the kind of players that Mike Neighbors was getting before that.
I think what you brought up a little bit earlier about revenue share and will it even the playing field, I do think that when you get beyond football, there are some areas where it will have a positive effect. And women's sports may be one of those areas. I've got to be honest. I did not realize until the other night when I watched them play how many of the players that were on this team last year are gone now and where they went. It's not like these players went to lousy teams. They're not playing at San Angelo State this year. I mean, Spencer goes to Tennessee. The Scott girl goes to Auburn. Dowda goes to South Carolina.
Somebody went to LSU.
I mean,
didn't Jersey Wolfenberger end up at LSU?
I think she ended up at LSU. Yeah. So, and then the Goforth girl, I think, decided not to play anymore. Right. So, that roster has been decimated in a way that very few rosters in any sports are. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know all the ins and outs of women's basketball and how the setup works and who's getting what players and who you got to know and how you got to recruit. I don't pretend to know that. But I know that evidently they don't have any money to spend, period. And the idea, folks, we were talking about this off the air a moment ago. I fight growing cynical on this as a fan and as an observer because this loyalty and win one for the Gipper and the home state school and I love my coach and all that stuff's taking a backseat to money.
I can't wait to be a Razorback.
I mean, no, that stuff's just all taking a backseat to money, and I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
And it's
but
not about,
it is.
In this case, we're talking about
not just here, but everywhere.
We're talking about the women's basketball in this case,
right.
But that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that it's become even more about money in college athletics, and I'm talking about winning, like how to win, how to go win.
So just two quick texts that I feel like we need to respond to because I feel like there's just still a lack of education around NIL. Caleb says, "Riddle me this. Explain softball and soccer. Excuses.
No, these aren't excuses. Because look, I'm going to be blunt with you. I'm not going to lose any sleep one way or the other. But when you look at it from an objective perspective, there's no question that it has affected things in women's basketball. I can't speak to the other sports. It's not excuses. I mean, that's just nobody's making excuses for women's basketball.
But also to your point or the text point, we talked about this the other day. There aren't $3 million coaches in soccer and women's softball. Okay, they're the money. Here's the level of spending and revenue in college athletics: football, basketball, baseball, women's basketball.
That's right.
Okay, everything else is distant from that in terms of finances. The finances matter less when it comes to NIL and players getting paid on the sports below the four I just mentioned. A lot less. I'm not saying it doesn't occur, but there's not a $3 million coach named Kim Mulkey that can go spend $200,000 on a player in softball. Like, that's not happening. Or soccer. It's just not a revenue. It's not at a high enough level. I'm not saying it doesn't one-off happen, like a gymnastics or whatever, but it's just that's we're not even talking in the same ballpark there. It's not even a thing. It's like saying you can win in track at Arkansas. Why can't you win at football?
Oh, I'm not.
Right. Like, it's just not even a
thing.
That's the point.
Yeah, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying lack of NIL money is the reason Arkansas is not any good in women's basketball. The truth is, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know enough about it to know, but I know that all their players left and went to good schools, and I know they're getting paid more money there than they were making here.
Yeah, pretty good evidence, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the evidence points to.
Here's a text, and I don't doubt it's true, and it may not be 100% on the button with the number, but this is the disparity that I'm talking about. Somebody texted in and they said Arkansas's women's NIL budget is $75,000 and UCLA's is $1 million. Okay. Now, I don't know that to be true, but it doesn't surprise me at all. Like, this is the discrepancy. Like, if we did dig in, I think we would find something similar to that kind of discrepancy with Arkansas and about 15 teams in the country, maybe more.
Here's the problem with all this NIL discussion, and I've come to realize this, is that people view the lack of, when you say our team doesn't have enough NIL money, too many people take that as, well, you're blaming me because I've not given any money. You're blaming the fans because they've not given any money. No. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. I hadn't contributed a penny to NIL. Probably won't. I think the whole premise is just crazy. I think it's just nuts. But the idea that you're going to win without it is just as crazy and just as nuts. And so that's the dilemma. You know, you personally hate it, but by the same token, if you don't do it, you don't have a prayer. And that's kind of where it is right now. So you can say they're not doing well because they don't have NIL money. That's not saying, well, it's the fans' fault. That's not what you're saying at all. You're just looking at it and saying, hey, one side's got more money than the other, and there's a pretty good chance that's why they're winning. Just like one household has more money than another household, that's a pretty good indicator because they got more nice cars in the driveway. I mean, that's just how the world works.
Just so I'm clear that I heard you right, you said it's all the fans' fault. This is all the fans' fault.
Not what I said.
Anybody else?
Not what I
That's
said.
what I heard.
That's not what I said.
You know why? Because that's what I wanted to hear.
You're about to piss me off. That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
That's what I wanted to hear.
That's not what I said.
That's why my Sir Pig-a-Lot Twitter account is going to tweet it right now.
That's the way people take it.
Because that's what I wanted to hear.
That's the way people take it. They say when we don't have enough NIL money, they say, well, you're blaming me. No, nobody's blaming you. You do whatever you want.
Guilty conscience is what they have. Because they know it's their fault.
Bail this segment out, Bart.
I was just going to say, case in point, Paige Beckers, who I think is the best women's basketball player in the country up at UConn, she has an NIL valuation of $1.4 million. Her alone. Just her. Per on three. So, there's a
They got a whole roster full of them.
Right.
At Connecticut. Right. 877-377-6963. We're going to get Bart's locks next. What I heard you say there, it was the fans' fault. That's what I heard you say.
Is that?
Not Chuck. Chuck's clearly saying the opposite. You? Mm-hmm. That's you. Tweet about it. At Chuck and Bo Show. Back in a moment.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Everyone remembers the Florida A&M game and later became known here in Pulaski County as Rattlergate.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Save up to $15,000 off. The Red Tag savings are back at Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Your choice. Save up to $15,000 off new Silverados or up to $15,000 off new Blazer EVs. That's how we do Red Tag savings at Chevrolet of Fayetteville in the Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Together, let's drive. ChevroletofFayetteville.com. Savings include dealer discounts and all incentives on select models. Must qualify. See dealer for details. Expires 12/2/24.
Is your hot water heater letting you down? No one likes cold showers. We want to be able to count on our hot water. That's why Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric has an offer that comes with the peace of mind I value. Get this, for just $17.76, you can get a 40 to 50 gallon water heater fully supplied and installed by their licensed and insured technicians backed by a comprehensive warranty. For less than $2,000? Yeah, price check it. It's a deal. Just log on to gopascal.com and don't worry about hot water anymore.
I want to make a couple of points here because I have the floor.
All of it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
November is the month for thankfulness, and all of us here at Crabtree RV Center in Alma are thankful for our loyal customers who voted us the best of the River Valley and the best of the best in 2024. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years. November is the month for thankfulness, and all of us here at Crabtree RV Center in Alma are thankful for our loyal customers who voted us the best of the River Valley and the best of the best in 2024. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet.
No, Mom, he's referring to football season.
Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets?
Sideline passes?
Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys?
Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white.
We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral.
Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner.
Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baum-Walker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based grams.
He means the website, which is shop on Razorback.com.
Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I knew I had to show up because after Chuck does a game, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't feel like there's a world where Chuck is not showing up and also lets us know.
That's true. If I don't show up, you need to try to contact me because there's an issue.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Oh, here we go.
Pissed off at you right now.
Me?
Yeah,
Why?
I did not
What's that?
say it was the fans' fault.
That's not what I heard. Man, if Chuck spent one day on Twitter answering the critics, it would be glorious. Like, you think I stepped in it around the Oklahoma State game. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. I mean, there's just no reasoning with people. Like, somebody just texted the show and said, well, how did Mike Neighbors have the players last year? Because he only offered them $5,000 each. This wasn't a thing like it is this year.
Here's the thing.
The transfer portal, tampering, all this stuff that's going on with offering players for other teams really came into effect in the last 12 months. Like in the middle of last year. But I mean, why would I expect you to understand that? Because you sit here and listen to us like we're trying to tell you something that's not true so you'll believe something different. And it's just absurd. Like why do you want to be like that? So you know what it is? Seth and Rogers, it's your fault. It is your fault. Tyler and Greenwood, it is your fault. I read your text every morning. At least there's a name. It's probably not your real one associated with it, but it's your fault. It's not my fault because I'm here every day, explaining it every day and answering your questions. But your snide little text that you want to come in with give no indication that you have anything to do or have any interest in learning anything or actually knowing anything. And then you come up out of the basement when mom makes breakfast and you go back down and you text the next freaking show. So it is your fault. Not anybody else's fault. It's your fault. Time for some locks. Do we have Bart's open?
We got a new one.
Hey, man, let's do it.
It's time for Bart's 100% guaranteed to maybe win.
Bart's Locks. It's appointment radio.
Bart picks them, you collect. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Man.
What was the record last weekend? What was the record?
2-1 last week.
Season record?
21-11.
How much money you won?
Yeah, that'll get you.
Plenty.
That'll get you.
Not enough to pay for a new heater.
I was going to say.
You know what? That'll get you a contract extension and a big buyout.
That'll get you a new
That's
heater,
a good record.
man.
That's right.
That is
That's
a good
right.
record.
Take your gambling
So-
winnings.
Who's paying your NIL freight?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm going to give you guys a choice this week.
Oh.
You have so many locks that we just get to pick.
I think
It's
an RPO.
Tired of taking all the heat.
Well, I can either give out 3 picks like I usually do, or I can give you 5 this week.
Chuck, I swear, I thought he was going to say, but I'm going to have to charge you for them. I swear I thought that's what he was going to say.
$5,000 a pop for the locks.
Wow.
No.
Okay,
What do you want? Do you want 3 or 5?
Let's do 5.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
5. All right.
I can roll.
Fire away, man.
Roll through them quickly.
Let it rip.
Just saw a lot of stuff. Saw a lot of stuff I like this week. Notre Dame 13.5-point favorite at home against undefeated Army. This is Army's biggest game of the year, and Notre Dame is going to win the game easily. Here's the thing. Notre Dame's already played a team that runs the triple option in Navy this year, beat them soundly. So they've already seen what
you're
Army
saying
does.
Notre Dame's going to cover.
Yeah. I'm going to
You hate the Army.
He likes.
I don't
hate the Army.
It's the Army's fault. It's the Army's fault.
They didn't send you free socks when you were in high school?
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's too
Well,
bad.
I love the Army. I love the
Bart
United
hates the
States
Army.
Army.
Bart hates the Army.
That's not true. But Notre Dame is going to win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Okay, go
Sounds
ahead.
like, sounds like we need to go on an educational field trip, like to Fort Chaffee or something.
I was going to say.
Alabama's at Oklahoma this week, and that line is Alabama minus 13.5. That's not enough points. Alabama big in Norman. Look, OU, they cannot do anything on offense. They've got a pretty good defense. Cannot do anything on offense. Alabama is the second best team they'll play all year, maybe the best team they'll play all year. I think Alabama just goes into Norman and rolls. I think
two big favorites.
Yeah.
Hey, all my Army friends are like all over my phone right now.
right.
They're coming for you.
You're putting words into my mouth.
It's your fault.
Oh, like you guys don't put words in my mouth. I mean, that's like the sport.
I would just like to
around
clarify, point of clarification, I love the United States Army.
Chuck wasn't on the game.
Yeah.
Bart doesn't. What I hear is Bart doesn't like the Army. I've learned 2 important things on the show today. Chuck thinks it's all the fans' fault, and Bart doesn't like the Army. This is unsettling. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
So BYU is coming off a loss to Kansas last week at home.
Which you picked.
I did pick. And now they travel to Arizona State, the Sun Devils, a 3-point favorite. And I expect the Sun Devils to win and cover the spread. I think this is the start of the downfall of BYU.
It's too hot for them down there.
Yeah.
Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah. I think Arizona State's just the better team.
30-something and rolling into the college football playoff.
So Arizona State minus 3 there.
All right.
Penn State is a 10-point favorite at Minnesota. This is the magic number for James Franklin. Anytime he's between like a 7 and 21-point favorite, he's like 14-0 the last 14 times out in this spot. So give me James Franklin. Give me Penn State. Much better team than Minnesota. The boat will not be rowing on Saturday.
What's the number?
10. Penn State minus 10.
That's 4.
And the last one.
PJ Flex, not going to row the boat.
The last one, Texas A&M and Auburn. Little SEC action for you. The Aggies, a small 2.5-point favorite at Auburn. Hugh Freeze has been awful at Auburn.
Oh, this is a dangerous spot for A&M.
Has been awful at Auburn against ranked teams and against SEC opponents. I'm sorry. A&M's defense is so good. This is kind of like the Oklahoma thing, the Oklahoma-Alabama game. I just see Texas A&M not letting Auburn do a single thing on offense. Aggies' offense is pretty good, so give me the Aggies minus 2.5.
Man,
Hugh Freeze is not going to win that game.
Where is that clip?
I'm actually with you on all of your clips.
Here we go.
I'm not comfortable with your hatred for the Army.
Let me see if I have the clip.
Again, I do not hate the United States Army.
But I think you got some winners.
I'm going to play a clip from Mike Elko, see if it changes your
There's
mind.
already so much talk about November 30th. It was announced as a night game today. How do you deal with that with your guys and saying, hey, we still have something ahead of us at Auburn, or is that even a big issue with your team?
I don't think it's an issue. I think when you're in the situation we're in, it's easy to focus on the task at hand. I think, those big games earlier in the year, maybe you look ahead. If we didn't have at stake what's at stake, maybe you would worry about it. I think our focus is single-handedly on Texas. On Auburn right now.
Whoops. Well, here's what I'll
say whatever you want.
Here's what I'll say.
Texas was on the tip of the tongue, not Auburn.
It is a classic.
That's next week.
It's a classic
Texas.
look-ahead spot for
Yes,
A&M.
it is.
But that line is just too short. If it was A&M minus 7.5, then yeah, maybe you side with Auburn. But Auburn is just bad. They're just not a good football team.
I don't understand
A&M is
why.
way better.
I don't understand the people thinking that's going to be an upset.
Guys,
I don't get it.
I'll take Auburn.
Really?
Yeah, I'll take Auburn.
Well, jump on in there.
I'll take it. I'm not betting.
How much?
I'm not.
I'm probably going to get a phone call
But
from
I'm
Hugh
just
Freeze
telling
asking
you,
what I've done,
Yeah,
what he's
100%.
done to offend me.
That's happened before.
Well,
It's happened before.
Hugh Freeze has actually
I've
called
stood
you?
right there in this room and taken a phone call from Hugh Freeze.
Really?
Not
What did he say?
understanding something. Somebody, put something on a message board. It was back when he
Said
was.
you hated Hugh Freeze?
Well, it was back when he was quoting a bunch of Bible verses. Like, this is before he got in trouble for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I said, maybe Hugh Freeze is right. And I'm not, I'm a Christian and I believe in God. But just because you quote Bible verses and say, I'm a Christian and I believe in God, doesn't mean you're infallible. In fact, it's quite opposite. If you do believe those things, you know everybody sins. So I was just saying, Hugh, you can't run Bible verses out there and expect us to go, oh, geez, surely you didn't do anything wrong. Well, somebody went on an Ole Miss message board and put Bo Mattingly slandering Hugh Freeze's faith. And so I get a phone call and it's like, Bo, now I never do this. But I just wonder why you would slander my faith. And you know what happened 3 months later? I mean, I explained to him what I just explained to you. Having said all that,
I stay
out
of discussions like that, but I think A&M's going to whip them.
You stay out of discussions.
I don't get into that, I don't question what's in somebody's heart.
Well, I didn't question what was in his heart.
You call his faith into
I
question.
did
Sounds
not.
to me like
That's not calling it into question.
You basically call him a charlatan.
He's trying to, see, now Chuck's doing it.
Payback.
Now Chuck's doing it. I knew that was going to happen. He gets on all the fans today, and then he wants to flip it around on me like it's my fault. Who's the most hated man coming out of the show? Chuck, Bart, or Bo? Put it on the poll. We'll get a tremendous response. Trust me, at Chuck and Bo Show on Twitter. Do you have all 5 picks in? So it's A&M?
It's A&M minus 2.5, Penn State minus 10, Arizona State minus 3, Bama minus 13.5, Notre Dame minus 13.5. All favorites this week.
We'll go to the Oaklawn Sportsbook and talk to Zach Gillum next on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I think that allowing him to call in occasionally is a healthy reminder of why you don't like Texas. Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweat No Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to sweatnomcosmetic.com and click on the Sweat No Edge. Having great vision enhances every part of life. That's why I go to McDonald Eye Associates. Whether it's a pair of readers or LASIK surgery, you know you're in good hands. You've heard former quarterback and now coach Ty Story talk about his great LASIK results with McDonald Eye. The surgeons there have done more LASIK procedures than anybody in the state of Arkansas and have helped numerous athletes get better results through improved vision. When it comes to vision, nobody sees it like McDonald Eye.
We want to make sure that you can read some ludicrous lyrics on his 47th birthday
I can
today.
do that one. Roll out, roll out. The Chuck and Bo Show.
Burlsworth with his new glasses. Looks like Clark Kent. This guy is dominating offensively. Pete, he's also a quality guy. We had more fun talking with him. He was a walk-on. Now he's an All-American. He also is brilliant. He's a great student. Last week he got his MBA. The guy is just what top football is all about.
I've been called everything. Clark Kent, Kurt Rambis, Drew Carey, you name it, I've been called it.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Hey, Hog fans, it's Zach with the Ruskin and Zach Show. Join me this Saturday, November the 23rd, from 10 to noon at the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville for ESPN Arkansas's Game Day pregame show. Robert, Elizabeth, and Matt at the Stadium Shop will have a buy one regular priced clothing item, get a second equal or lesser value, half off, including their new Nike apparel and jerseys. With the largest selection of Razorback merchandise south of the North Pole, it does not get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. ESPN Arkansas Game Day show live at the Stadium Shop on Razorback this Saturday from 10 to noon.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
The best things never change, they just get better. Like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Choose from juicy charbroiled double cheeseburgers, melty hot ham and cheeses, or hand-breaded chicken tender wraps. 2 full-size favorites plus fries and a drink, all just $6.99. There's no skimping in this bag. No junior burgers or tiny nuggies, just full-size goodness for big-time value. The $6.99 Original Bag, only at Hardee's. These items only, tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Referee should never let it happen. I felt at the end of the game it was highly unethical
and production print solutions
to go to the
provider.
camera
What makes
on a
AAA
BS
unique?
makeup
Rico,
and icing my free
Sharp,
throw shoot.
and Brother Equipment, fast, friendly service,
highly
office
unethical.
technology
And
experts,
the referee should never let
all-inclusive
it
service
happen.
contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Did your spouse move out and take the Christmas decorations with her? Mock Legal Solutions is here to help with your divorce and your decorations. On Friday, November 22nd, ESPN Radio will be live all day from our conference room in Fort Smith. Tune in or drop in for the morning rush, halftime, and wrap up the day with the ESPN equivalents of Cousin Eddie, Ruskin, and Zach. Sign up on hitthatline.com to register for our Christmas giveaway. Walmart gift cards and 1 fully decorated Christmas tree will be given away. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
You serious, Clark?
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Chuck and I didn't talk for 4 years.
That's right.
And I was trying to find his email, and sure enough, it was there.
Last text I sent to Bo like 5 years
Right
ago.
before
It popped
COVID.
up.
Right before COVID. We didn't even check on each other after COVID.
It said, "Don't call me ever again," but I ignored that. I ignored that and called him back.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You ever gotten a text like that? Don't ever call me again.
Well, I think I've got one from Tyler in Greenwood, but I'm not going to read it.
Oh, okay.
It just said Bo, and then it's going nowhere good from there, so I'm just not going to read it. Sorry, Tyler. And if you're hurt over anything I said.
Is there more to it than that?
I don't know. I'm not
No,
gonna
it
read
just says
I don't have
it's all it says. It doesn't have anything beyond that.
I don't want to read it. Zach Gillum, Director of Sports Betting at Oaklawn Sports, joining us on the Chuck and Bo Show as he does every Friday. Zach, always great to have you on. Oaklawn Sports app is a great place to go wager. We're wondering if there are any prop bets in this Arkansas basketball game tonight with Arkansas Little Rock as a place to start. Good morning. Thanks for being on.
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, good morning, guys. How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Great, yeah. No, that's a great question. So the Razorback basketball game, it is on the board right now. Arkansas minus 21 in this one, hosting UALR. Total at 145. There are not any props on the board at the moment, but just keep your eye on the board. It will continue to populate as the day goes on. I do expect to see some props before we get to game time.
I noticed the line hasn't really moved on the football game. La Tech, 21.5-point underdog coming to Arkansas on Saturday. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, it posted it that Sunday, and it is still there currently. Total in that one at 48.5. Action has been very heavy Arkansas from what I've seen, but that is a big number. You're across the 3 touchdown mark, so it's not really significant until you move it really another couple points. So I don't expect to see it move too much at this stage in the week.
Have you been getting, I think one of the biggest games we're all intrigued by as college football fans, Indiana at number 5 Indiana, number 2 Ohio State, if you look at the college football rankings. I think it's currently Ohio State minus 10. Have you seen much action on that?
Yes, we are seeing action on that one. This was one of the lines that we had posted early, so this one's been posted over about the last month. You had it as low as 7.5 at one point, 9.5. It got up to 13.5 at one point this week, and now down to 10.5. So this line's been all over the place. I am seeing mostly Ohio State action, but there are some decent sized bets that have come in on Indiana as well.
Zach Gillum, director of sports wagering at Oaklawn. What about future stuff? Like, we've been sitting here trying to figure out who's got the best chance to win the SEC.
Yeah, where's the action going?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I have not seen a lot of recent action on who's going to win the SEC market because I think similar to you and me, everybody's trying to figure it out themselves. There's so many scenarios still on the table. But looking at the betting odds right now, Texas, who's ranked number 3, plus 140, your favorite to win the SEC. Alabama's at plus 150, your second choice. Georgia's at plus 300, and then Texas A&M comes in as that fourth choice at plus 15.
Wow. Who'd you say had the best odds?
Texas.
Wow.
Texas is the current favorite, but not by much. Alabama's just right behind them. So Texas plus 140, Alabama plus 150. I know Ole Miss is a popular choice. They are 50-1 currently.
50-1 to win the SEC.
50-1.
Wow.
I might jump on somebody.
What
do you think,
show
Bart?
it? I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in on that. That's a ton of value. That's wild. I mean, it's just going to be so crazy how this all plays out. What about to win the college football playoff?
Yeah, so to win the full thing right now, Ohio State, the favorite, plus 300. So bet $100, it will return you $400. $300 of that is profit. Oregon, your second choice, plus 450. Georgia is right there with them at plus 450. Texas at plus 550. Alabama plus 800. Ole Miss, so they like Ole Miss better to win it all than to win the SEC. If that tells you anything, it has probably a lot to do with their likelihood of getting in that championship game. But Ole Miss 10-1 to win it all, so more likely potentially to get into playoffs than to have a chance at that SEC championship.
Interesting. Have you seen any big moves on anything this week, college football-wise, or really anything of significance that just jumped at you like, wow, that game's gotten more action than I thought?
I would say the one that's getting the most that surprised me was Alabama. The Alabama-Oklahoma game. Being almost a 2-touchdown favorite, that was a decent amount of action on Alabama. And then Texas A&M and Auburn. I mean, A&M, 15th ranked team, just under a field goal favorite when taking on Auburn this week. And that one's getting a pretty good amount of action on the Aggies.
I got a question about that one, and it kind of goes to, what goes into setting the line, because A&M's been a whole lot better than Auburn this year. Not just a little bit, a whole lot. Not 2.5 points, like 2 touchdowns better. But yet the odds and the line, and I'm not saying it's a bad line, what goes into the hunch, that Auburn might be better than advertised at home this week?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that can go into it. I think one of them is going to be A&M. While they have looked good this season, just like everybody, there's just been some inconsistency there. traveling on the road. They are playing at Auburn, as you mentioned. It's at night. That is not an easy environment to win in. Not that anywhere in the SEC really is. So I think that factors into it.
How much do night games matter? How much do night games on the road matter, do you think? Because when you say night game on the road at Auburn, to me, that's a big part of the reason right there.
Yes. Yeah, no, and I can't give you an exact figure on it just because I'm not completely setting these lines, but it definitely factors in. I mean, if you were to, let's just say that it was a 3-point, if we just wanted to give teams a 3-point home field advantage, and you say that night game's worth a little bit more, so maybe they're worth 3.5 points there. So really that would make Auburn about a 6-point dog in this instance because we're giving them those couple points as the advantage. That seems a little closer to what it would probably be, closer to a touchdown. So I think that's something you could kind of look at and factor in. But really to me this year it's just been very difficult. You know, any given week a team has looked very, very good, and some weeks they've just made you scratch your head. It's just that consistency.
He's Zach Gillum, Director of Sports Betting at Oaklawn Sports. Download the Oaklawn Sports app in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Get in on the action. Check out the prop bets. Arkansas, Louisiana Tech this weekend. You got Arkansas and Arkansas Little Rock in basketball tonight. And a bunch of games this weekend, both college, NFL. Zach, great to have you on as always. Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you, Zach.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. And, hey, if you're looking for something Sunday night, you can't go to bed, I recommend turning on, watch the Las Vegas Grand Prix. If you didn't check it out last year, that's the F1 race. A lot of fun. They're racing down the strip going about 200 miles an hour. Odds are on the board. You can bet on the practice, qualification, race. It's all there available, Oaklawn Sports.
Love it.
All right.
Love
Thanks.
it. Thanks, Zach. But by the way, if you get on, you don't have the Oaklawn Sports app yet. New Oaklawn Sports customers earn up to $1,000 in bonus bets. Just go to the App Store, download it. Futures, outright winners, spreads, totals, player props, game props, live in-game wagering, you name it. You can probably bet on it at Oaklawn Sports. Log on to Oaklawn.com for the rest of anything you need to know involving Oaklawn, like live racing season coming up.
December 6th.
December 6th. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. Man, we got some exciting stuff next segment. And maybe another donut hole.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Guys, first and foremost, congratulations on the official launch of the Chuck and Bo Show. I want to know, how did you guys decide which name went first, Chuck or Bo? Was that a flip of the coin?
This holiday season, make your moments unforgettable with a gift from Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. From brilliant diamonds to vibrant gemstones and timeless watches, Blakeman's has something for everyone on your list. Our team is here to guide you in finding the perfect piece, whether it's a token of love, appreciation, or holiday celebration. Visit us in Rogers and see why Blakeman's Fine Jewelry is Northwest Arkansas's go-to destination for gifts that shine.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball to golf. Bet on what you want, when you want, with the brand you trust. Oaklawn Sports even offers ways to bet on cricket, rugby, table tennis, and more. If it's a sport, chances are you can wager on it. Plus, it's now simpler to deposit and withdraw money from your account. Bet all year long with Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Did you know the CDC reports as many as 3 out of 4 Americans suffer from sleep disorders? The more severe condition is called obstructive sleep apnea, and if left untreated, can increase the risk of death by 17%. It can also lead to conditions like obesity, high blood pressure, heart condition, and stroke. If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options, and thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies, provided by one of our own Arkansas surgeons, Dr. Scotty Bolding, there are alternative treatments that may eliminate the need to wear CPAP every night. Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better. Call Dr. Bolding's office today at 479-755-3000 for a consultation and tell them you heard it on the Chuck and Bo Show.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. Watch closely now, for there's one more surprise, a gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heat and air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with over $5,100 in savings. Plus, receive a whole home duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Special financing available with no payments and no interest. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
We are possibly entering what could be a golden age in Razorback athletics.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because our Kansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Up to $3,000 off and 0.9% financing on all 2024 Buick Encore GXs at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Encore GX is a boldly styled 5-person SUV that is ready to reward up to $3,000 off and 0.9% financing for well-qualified buyers. This is a limited time offer. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith and online at harryrobinson.com.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Bartley.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I was 6 years old. We played him with a legendary quarterback, Joe fucking Ferguson. 34-7. We sent him back to home.
I thought he went all the way.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was a check swing. I didn't think it was a check swing. I thought he went around.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Show.
Oh,
what a show it's been.
Absolutely, absolutely incredible. Hey, before we go, Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you've been thinking about buying a home, selling your home, maybe you've not been thinking about it. Maybe you have to do it. Well, these guys have been my partners for a long time. First time I bought a home, first time out of the chute, they were there. And whether it's your first time or whether you've done this over and over and over again, boy, it is nice to have a partner. It's nice to have somebody that understands your needs, someone you've communicated with. That was my experience with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. I think it's going to be yours too. They're in Northwest Arkansas, Washington and Benton counties, Fort Smith, Branson. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can see their wide selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
I don't get to talk about Weicker that much because Chuck takes it all, but what a bunch of great people. I've never met anybody that works for Weicker that I don't like. Just want to say that. And you know what else? They get back to you as quick as you can.
I know.
To me, when you're dealing with anybody, when you need to get something done, there's no bigger deal than them getting back to you.
You're right.
We're getting back to you.
Is there a message in that to me? Because I'm bad about that.
You are. Like sometimes I will send a text and I get my feelings a little bit. 6 hours later, I think Chuck's mad. So I'll have Bart call you and check on you. Because I'm not calling you.
Make it interesting, and I'll respond.
Hey, can you see? Hey, will you see if Chuck's kind of upset at me? Just kind of don't bring it up like overtly. Just kind of like
he's
maybe
mad at me.
Maybe sideways find out if Chuck's like mad. And then he'll call me back and he'll be like, yeah, I probably would maybe not say much to him tomorrow during the breaks.
He said basically stay away from him.
It's been a fun week.
It
has
has
been a
been.
couple of weeks on the show. Edward compiled it all in case we forgot how great it was.
What a great 2 weeks it's been here on the Chuck and Bo Show.
What do you think Brian and Ozark is doing under the full moon? So if I get offended right there, do you get offended at me for being offended?
No, I don't get offended at you for being offended, but I do think there's an issue.
Yo, fucking Ferguson! 4-7!
Who the
Oh, well, now I think I know what was said there.
Can I just talk about Chuck for a second?
It's like when you're in a bar and you think, well, she doesn't look at you like you're an old man.
Well, look, if you can't get on board to hate Texas, there's just something not right about you.
Hey, you hit a certain age, man, you hit that crisis, and there's no looking back.
No, you don't tag them. No, I mean it's they're just dead.
I just didn't know we slid into like Joe Lenardi's private podcast.
And Bo, if I was as good a husband as you were, a man on the radio, my wife would bow to me.
Divorce.
Eli Drinkwitz is no Bob Stoops.
I am Bart, and I did the billboard.
The way you guys have fancied up the pig in the blanket.
Let's take you as an example. You're rich, and you're still here.
I am not rich, or I wouldn't be here.
Does the show feel like it's always a friendly environment? Just
I
like
guess it depends on which side of the fence you're on.
It's friendly. Sometimes you get yelled at, but I mean, it's still friendly.
Let's see just how dry we can get.
Two best guys in mediocre sports radio. Yeah. And listening back to that, I realized how much we just amuse ourselves.
We suck.
the amusement of ourselves is real.
Well, at the end of the day, the only person we're really trying to amuse is ourselves.
Yeah, we're still trying to make our families proud.
Yeah.
We tell them we're on a different time slot.
That's right.
They've never actually heard us.
They think it's 6 to 9 at night. They've been tuning in for months now.
Who would give those guys a show in the morning? What are you talking about? Mike's in Goshen. Mike on a Friday. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing great.
Hey, I've been one of those wifed agents for 19 years. So.
See, all right, one of those people I'm talking about, Mike. Yes, sir.
Yeah. We answer the phone, answer the text, and second to none. Hey, what do you guys think about? We got basketball games tonight. We've also got high school football playoffs. You think that's going to affect the attendance a little bit?
Oh, I think the basketball game will be better than it was the other night. But, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a weird weekend.
It'll be the biggest crowd since the Kansas game.
I don't know what else is going – you think so? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what else is going on campus. Like, is it Parents' Weekend or whatever and all that. But, you got – be a good weekend to come to Fayetteville and then go to the football game tomorrow.
That's right.
You got the soccer game. I don't think – the soccer game or, the Fayetteville-Pulaski game might take a little bit away from it. High school football playoffs.
Hey, what's the line on the Fayetteville-PA game tonight?
I don't know. Mike, what would you think? Who do you favor, Mike, in the PA Fayetteville game?
Fayetteville's are in rock and roll. But, hey, we got another X Factor starting tomorrow. Actually, Arkansas duck season opens 30 minutes before sunrise tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. Bart, what were you going to say? Thanks for the call, Mike. What were you going to say?
I was going to say no line out as of right now.
I'm going to try something. I like Fayetteville a lot, but that's just, that's my heart speaking. Go Purple Dogs. Hey, I'm going to try something. Eddie, we don't have any time. We're out. But can you just wish us a good weekend? Eddie.
You bet that, sir. Have a great weekend. Stand aboard the Hog Train.
Thank you, sir. Hey, great to hear I wanted to just hear your voice to complete my Friday. You have a great weekend, Eddie.
Thank you.
Now that Hog Train. I didn't know that was possible.
That was really good. I mean, you spelled it out for him.
He nailed it.
You spelled it out for him. Man, well, he's got a good feel for this stuff.
Bart's Locks will no doubt be posted on social media.
5-0.
We'll post some other
week
things
coming.
too. If we offended anybody, I apologize.
There's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state, and you can add Flyway Brewing to the list. A craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock dating back to 2013. With popular flavors like Blue Wing Berry Wheat Ale, the Honeybird Blonde, and the Early Bird IPA, there's no shortage to enjoy a tasty craft beer flight at the Flyway Brewery in Fayetteville, 1550 East Scion Road, or in North Little Rock at 314 Maple Street. Flyway Craft Beer, also available in restaurants and stores everywhere.